and the state legislature redrawing new congressional districts.
The law surrounding the Voting Rights Act continues to evolve. We've had a decision just as recently as the last couple of weeks out of the Eighth Circuit that is concluded in a majority decision there that there's no private right of action under the Voting Rights Act. If in fact that becomes the law of the land across the United States, right now it's limited to the Eighth Circuit, that would have a dramatic impact on Alabama's case because we have private parties that are pursuing this action right now. Yes, and that's a defense that we've raised in Alabama's case. So far, the three-judge panel has rejected that. But that's an issue that's going to, I think, make its way eventually to the Supreme Court because of the circuit split that we have out there.
I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Some of the greatest blessings is just having the people that care about you, to have someone that's just going to love you and make you feel important. They encourage you to be in church. They encourage you to be in prayer. They encourage you to be in your Bible. Now it's a part of my day every day. My house parents planted seeds in me that you can see where those seeds have sprouted in my life and helped change my life.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
A young man is in critical condition after taking a fall while hiking in North Alabama. The accident occurred on Monday at 3 caves on the land trust of the Monte Sano Nature Preserve. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's cleaning service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Welcome into the program here on a beautiful Monday out of Montgomery, Alabama. So much to get to, especially because OpenAI's latest chatbot, latest AI model, didn't want to shut down and was disobeying orders. That's pretty crazy. You got Senator Ron Johnson really giving it to the GOP and most of Washington for continuing to spend too much. And Trump is really pushing back against Putin. Joining us to talk about these things and much more, we have the one, the only Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, how you doing today?
Well, I'm doing well, Joey. How are you, my friend?
Quite well. Now, I guess you saw the latest, not just over the weekend, but today, Trump coming out with things against Putin, saying he's crazy, he's gone crazy. If it wasn't for me, bad things would have already happened to Russia, is the latest today. You were talking last week how Trump doesn't seem to understand the Russian perspective here. For maybe folks who didn't catch us or just to underline the point, what do you think is the Russian position as we continue with this war?
Well, this is not a war of opportunity or a war of conquest. This is a war of self-preservation, going back to the misleading statements made by the George H.W. Bush and Bill Clinton administrations about how NATO would be restrained in return for the liberation of East Germany and the Baltic states. And since that time, NATO has added 30 new countries. Some of them are small countries, but they're all along or close to the Russian border. So to the Russians, this would be like having the Chinese military in Mexico with missiles pointed at Dallas and Phoenix and Houston and Chicago and Miami. If that were to happen here, we would find it absolutely intolerable. And that's effectively what NATO did in Ukraine. I don't know if the president understands that. On Sunday, he said that Putin was crazy for attacking civilians. There's no evidence whatsoever that the Russians have intentionally attacked civilians. There is, of course, much evidence that the Americans have intentionally attacked civilians in Yemen. We know that from the Telegram chat that revealed comments from Secretary Hegseth and the others. The bomb maker is going to his girlfriend's apartment. Let's get the apartment building. Boom. They killed 35 people who were living in the apartment building. So this morality argument obviously cuts both ways. But back to the president. I mean, the United States is in a long-term effort since January 20th to bring about an amicable resolution of the war. Why would you? We're already a co-belligerent. We are not neutral. We are funding the war against Russia. What is to be gained by insulting the Russian president? Number one. Number two, it's inconceivable that Trump didn't know that there was an assassination attempt on Putin via drones. If he truly didn't know it, he should fire all the people around him for not telling him that. If he did know it, then he was lying when he claimed he didn't know about it. I get it that sometimes secrets don't want to be spilled, but this is public knowledge and there was no reason for him to lie about it. However, when the Kremlin hears this stuff, oh, I didn't know they tried to kill Putin. Putin's crazy. He's killing civilians. This really makes it very difficult for the Kremlin to repose any credibility into the person of the president of the United States.
Well, we'll see. And for folks who don't know, I believe Putin was in the Kursk region, and drones came after his helicopter. They had countermeasures, and so the drones were shot down. But it was a pretty straightforward assassination attempt once they got knowledge of him in there. And it seems like the drone warfare in particular is just continuing to heat up with measures and countermeasures. This is not stopping anytime soon.
It's about all Ukraine has left as drones. They actually have. I've seen some of these drones when I was in Russia. I saw some of Moscow. I saw some of the captured drones. You can actually make them in your basement. They fly below the radar, figuratively and literally, and they can be very, very lethal. And the Ukrainians I don't know what the number is. I do believe it's hundreds a day are being manufactured by mom and pop facilities, by individual persons, and by corporations throughout Ukraine. But the Russians continue to march westward and probably will not stop until they hit the Dnieper River. And Trump's negotiation is not going to achieve anything. This is not a real estate deal. This is, for the Russians, existential. It's a matter of their existence. Ukraine cannot present, and no one on the Ukraine territory can present a military threat to Moscow, period. End of story. And the Americans need to understand that.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out, but I think you're right in your summation of their position and how they the Russians view this war. Yeah, a lot of the things I want to bring up to you. I don't think I've ever asked you though about the AI revolution. If it's something you're not interested in, fine. But I mean, with this news that OpenAI is one of their latest models, it was told to shut down. Not only said no, I'm not shutting down, wrote code to get around it. Even wrote code that would leave little worms for when it's rebooted to have essentially memory from the last time it was shut down. It seems like we're playing with fire here, yet the whole world's racing towards it. So it's like nukes.
Yeah.
How do you stop it?
I haven't exposed myself to it yet. I suppose I will have to soon. We do have an AI system coming here at Newsmax, and I'll have to learn how to use it. But the idea that the creature can be stronger than the creator is a violation of the natural law. I don't know how that could be. What would happen if you pulled the plug? Does this thing operate without power?
No, thank God. That's what they did. They pulled the plug on it when it started disobeying. and it's done odd things before, and there's many different models now. But all our great like storytellers have warned us about this even before we get the technology. But off air, we were talking about Kubrick's Space Odyssey. Like this is, usually artists are onto something, and you should beware what you're creating. Yet again, it seems like this is an arms race more than anything else. Like the first person to get what they call AGI, artificial general intelligence, will be so leaps and bounds ahead of other nations that everybody's running towards it despite the risk.
I guess the Pope knows what he's talking about. In his second speech after he got elected, he warned of the dangers of AI, but he must know a lot more about it than I do.
Yeah, it's we'll see. I keep saying that these days. It's like it's become a verbal tick, but it's also like we're in the middle of everything at the moment, politically and technologically. Well, speaking of being in the middle of things, what do you make of the GOP balking at actually doing Doge cuts, actually cutting spending? I know Ron Johnson and Rand Paul, as well as many others, are saying we're not going to go with this spending fest. Are you surprised by this at all?
I am 1,000% with Senators Paul and Johnson. This thing that the House passed is a monstrosity. Yeah. I mean, it adds $4 trillion to the national debt over the next 10 years. So all it is a bunch of Christmas tree ornaments for the president. There's no serious thought involved whatsoever. The Republicans in the House should be ashamed of themselves. This is the opposite of what they campaigned on. Republican Party has never stood for the micromanagement of the economy and for spending more than you take in. But under Donald Trump, who's only concerned about the next 3.5 years, not the next 3.5 decades, that's where we are today. These young members of Congress, their grandchildren will be paying a 50% tax rate in order to pay the interest on the money being borrowed to spend today.
And yet the military gets more spending. I guess border enforcement, immigration is getting more spending, more money. Often a lot of these cuts are several years out. It's the usual tricks in Washington. And I just find it very disappointing that Doge did give a roadmap. Some of it they realize requires Congress, obviously. And yet, despite everybody butting up to Elon Musk, they're now like, well, we don't really want to.
What is Coach Tuberville going to do on this? Do you know? Have him on. He's not in favor of spending more than we take in.
I think, Coach, I agree with you, and I think he would generally agree. Actually, surprisingly, I think Senator Britt has been from Alabama has been pretty good on the spending stuff, too. Coach Tuberville is about to announce running for governor of Alabama, so I think his mind is here on the state, not on Watch. He's getting out of town. God bless him for it.
He's probably unhappy in D.C. Well, I don't know when that election is, but it can't be before he has to vote on this monstrosity now on the floor of the Senate. I hope he votes against it.
He will be there to vote, and the election's, I guess the primary is early next year, about a year from now. And one other thing, because I know we've talked about this a lot, but again, it's worth underlining. Of all folks, you would think Donald Trump would understand, say, Fourth Amendment protections, how intrusive, say, the FISA courts can be, what the FBI can do to you when you're on the wrong side of them. How is Trump and this current FBI under Patel and Bongino actually doing with basic protections of the Fourth Amendment?
Well, let me add another name, and that is Tulsi Gabbard, who announced over the weekend some central location, some central depository for all of the data collected by warrantless surveillance on Americans. This is the opposite of what she said she wished when she was a member of Congress. How Trump can allow this to happen. Trump, who himself personally was spied on by CIA, FBI, and GCHQ, the Brits, going back to, you remember that controversy?
Oh, yeah.
Going back to 2015, before he was even a candidate. How he can allow this is beyond me. How she can be in favor of it. She is either threatened or co-opted already by the bureaucrats around her, because this is the opposite of the Tulsi Gabbard we knew and supported when she was in the House of Representatives. People just don't seem to care about the Fourth Amendment, even though they all took an oath to preserve, protect, and defend it.
Now, and you, in your op-ed last week, I loved it because you seemed to just outright say that the seeds of the destruction of the, say, privacy from the government were already there when they went to the probable cause standard that
Yes, probable cause. And I can tell you from having signed many, many search warrants and rejected, well, you could count on one hand the judges who reject search warrants when the police come to their chambers. I'm sure I rejected more than I signed. This is not a reflection on me. It's a reflection on the absence of respect for the Fourth Amendment on the part of law enforcement. They just don't give a damn. The probable cause standard is too low. It's too easy because it's a balancing. It implies that the right to privacy and the government's need for evidence are in equipoise. Nothing is ever in equipoise with a natural right except another natural right. The government is not a naturally existing entity. It's a creature created by theft and lies and consists of a monopoly of force in a geographic area. Its powers can never be in equipoise with a natural right. So if you attempt to balance a natural right against what the government has, the government will always find a way to prevail in that balance. If the standard were active, aggressive waiver, I have waived my natural rights by violating somebody else's. That's one that Thomas Aquinas would have accepted.
Well, I can't think of a better way to end our discussion today. I've got a mic right in front of me, or I yell "huzzah" here at the top of my lungs, but we'll just say it quietly.
Love you, Joey. Thank you.
Appreciate it as always, folks. You can always find him on Judging Freedom, his own show, and I guess Newsmax watchers see the judge on a regular basis on Newsmax there.
Yes, and Scott Ritter coming up at 1:30 this afternoon, who's hot and fuming about what we have just been talking about.
Well, look forward to seeing it myself. I appreciate it, Judge, as always. God bless, sir.
Thank you, Joey. All the best.
Again, folks, that is Judge Andrew Napolitano. Always appreciate his time in studio with me today. We got the crew back, the normal crew. We got Eddie Bader here in the studio. How you doing?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm all right. And we have Byron Sheehy. How you doing today, Byron?
Found my way back, fellas.
Found your way back here.
It was fun. Yeah, a lot of family time. Enjoying the niece. Showed you some photos.
Yeah, first time she ever saw the Gulf of America.
Yeah, oh, that's cool.
First time.
That's pretty awesome. And then Eddie was telling me, tell that story. You're very proud of your grandson.
Yeah, we were swimming yesterday in the lake, and he had a squirt gun in his hand, and we were swimming around having a good time. And like I said, he would dang near drown, or he almost drowned before he'd let go of that squirt gun, which made me very proud that he would not disarm himself no matter what. Very, very smart.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's a proud redneck moment right there. I'm telling you.
No, that's something.
He wouldn't put the gun down.
And it's been a while since I've had fun with a super soaker.
Had some this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now's the time.
Now, do you get to the age where you pump it?
No,
pretty
I found
crazy?
This one on TikTok. So
Yeah.
You put batteries in, it's automatic, and it shoots like a laser thing too. It's super cool.
Like it's got a laser sight.
Yeah, well, it's got laser. Like when you shoot it, it's got lasers in the gun that lights it go off.
Oh,
and it's 4 barrels, and it shoots 4 blasts at you.
And so it's a battery pump that's always pulling in air and compressing air. They put air compressors on water guns.
Yes. It's so cool. It is so cool. I'm just worried about the power. For those, I'll take it. But if I hit the kid with it, it might.
It's always good to grope for good metaphors, like to help understand a situation. How I feel about the GOP with the whole Doge and cutting spending and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Remember, you fill up the water balloon, you tie it up, you go, you sneak up, you get in the right position, you throw it at somebody, and just bounces off them and doesn't
that makes
break.
me so mad.
That's how I feel about the GOP and Doge.
Yeah,
I don't even know if I get that far. I feel like it just kind of like squirts back on me.
Struggle with the tie.
Yeah.
That gun.
We don't
water all over myself.
We don't get that far.
No, it's so disappointing. It really is. We'll get into the details. We have the full interview from Rand Paul on Fox News Sunday, as well as Senator Ron Johnson did an emergency podcast with the All In crew.
Oh, okay.
That was very good. Him laying out how a lot of these folks just aren't serious. To the judge's point, they're thinking about the next 2 years. They're thinking about the next 3.5 years. They're not thinking about the next 3 decades. But going back to what I first brought up with the judge on Russia. Trump put this out this morning. What Vladimir Putin doesn't realize is that if it weren't for me, lots of really bad things would have already happened to Russia. And I mean really bad. Really bad's in all caps. He's playing with fire. So we've gone from, I don't know what happened to this guy, he's crazy, to he's playing with fire. So you're going from what the heck is wrong to now threats. Now, it's a bit of a veiled threat, but not that veiled. It's not as direct. You also saw Germany.
Germany.
We are going to allow the Ukrainians to fire deep, very deep indeed, into Russia.
Really?
Now, of course, you're going to need the U.S.
move,
to kind of back that up. But yeah.
But did they say that
big
knowing
signal.
that we would say, no, not right now?
No, I think it's an early, again, a threat.
Mhm.
Oh, the Germans are cool with it. You can use our stuff to shoot Moscow. But maybe the United States will okay after that. They're letting us have weapons again, you know.
Yes. Yes. We cannot wait to use them.
Yes. We have this thing called the eel.
This is the same Germany that just ponied up an additional like 200 troops to NATO for the first time in 20 or 30 years.
Yes. Right.
I don't think
They're very eager.
I don't think Russia's too worried about it.
No, they should be more worried about the Polish, of all people.
Right.
Yeah, Poland ain't playing. But, I mean, that's a mess. This is a mess. And it was a massive barrage by Russia, one of the largest airstrikes
You go
in
for
a
the
year
king?
or two.
You
Yeah,
better-
and this is in reaction to Putin visits the area where there had
Yep.
been an incursion by the Ukrainians and a lot of, say, foreign legion, a lot of different folks fighting over there. And as they're leaving with the helicopter, they sent drones to go attack Putin's helicopter. Now they had the electronic and other countermeasures.
Thank God, man. 'cause-
But yeah, you take a shot at the king, you better not miss. And
Right.
they sent like 69 cruise missiles, 230 something drones, hitting not only Kyiv, but also hitting two cities they don't currently hold, they'd love to hold,
Yep.
Kharkov and Odessa. So
What's the
We'll
over?
see.
What's the over under on Zelensky making it past this summer?
I don't know.
You know,
man.
I thought he was in the clear for a little while until the other day. And
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? That dummy don't even know when to. He wants to go out a martyr.
I mean, Joey said it. You go after the king, you better not miss.
That's what.
Man, so that's an absolute mess. We're disappointed when it comes to this big, beautiful bill that is ugly as sin. We're disappointed in that peace is not breaking out in the world despite best efforts. I mean, what is there that's positive? Oh, yeah. And there's the whole, well, you got a positive
Yeah,
thing?
I got positive.
Uh-huh.
Did you see Macron?
I did see that.
That was very
Did you
positive
see that,
for me.
Byron?
Oh, that is so good.
So he's getting off his plane, and you can see him like jabbing, like you know, talking to somebody, but
Yeah.
kind of like frustrated. And all of a sudden, you just see a hand like come out from the threshold and just
Push
his face. Like it's kind of like a forceful just push of the face.
Like, get out of my face.
And then he turns and looks and sees like the doors open and all the cameras saw it. He goes, "Hey, everybody!"
Yes.
And of course, it's his wife, who's
Whatever.
supposedly a man or
The
whatever.
man, baby.
with a heaving bosom. Bruce Jenner, eat your heart out.
Dude, that was, to me, that just cracked me up because, like you said, he looked at it, realized everybody saw it. He's like, oh, hello.
We will just, this is what we call a full play.
Well, and what, a week or so ago, he got busted with some cocaine right there on the table.
Oh, yeah. Well, and maybe this is good news. The FBI is reviewing the pipe bomber case,
Oh,
the cocaine in the White House.
yes, I saw that one.
Yeah. And the Supreme Court leak. All those big little controversies that happened, they're
I thought
looking
they
back
took
and
care of those, Joey.
investigating.
It's been so long. I assumed those were taken
Well,
care
how
of.
long is it really going to take them to investigate whose cocaine that was in the White House?
Well, enough time has gone by to never be sure.
Also, other good news, consumer confidence report much stronger than expected.
Yep.
You know, you keep getting all this doom and gloom about the economy, and also Republicans have moved back into positive territory. Who do you trust more, Republicans or Democrats, on the economy and inflation? After some scare with the tariffs, Republicans are back in the positive side. They are more trusted by the American people. So you keep hearing all the gloom and doom and the price shock from the tariffs and yada yada, but it's not showing up. So maybe that's good news. Maybe things aren't quite as bad. This one's not like great news, but it's funny. Juicy Smollett
Yeah.
or Jussie Smollett. Juicy Smollett goes on wild social media tirade proclaiming his innocence.
Really?
It's,
He on
I keep
drugs?
coming back to this, but when the emperor gets called out for having no clothes, it's not like he admits he's naked. He keeps walking around naked like he's got clothes
I
on.
thought he already admitted he was naked.
Not only that,
I was under duress. They had a gun to my head, and so I was never really
if
naked.
he would just shut up and change his name and go away, everyone honestly would forget about it at this point.
Right.
I couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
Right.
Right. Also, maybe it's good news, maybe it's bad news. End of an era. The U.S. penny is officially dead.
So is it worth me keeping them now? Are they a collector's item? I'll sell you 10 pennies for $1.
Well, and how many idioms will now go out of style? Like, penny for your thoughts? Well, that's just my 2 cents. Like, when's the last time you paid 2 cents for something?
Okay, so today's the day we officially say everything's going to go up to a nickel?
Yeah.
Nothing's going down.
Right.
Everything's going. So no more 99?
No.
95.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That's a good point. Well, and that's
What about
always
gas
such
stations with the point?
Right. That's always a funny, like, psychological trick. It's not $10. It's $9.99.
Mm-hmm. In the housing market,
right.
Not $400. It's $3.99.
So we'll get into, I guess they're just not going to make the penny anymore.
That's what I assume. Yeah.
You still have to accept the one circulating, right?
Yeah, but I wonder how long that'll be
I wonder
before.
how many are actually
Dude, there's got to be
tabbed in
gazillions.
circulation. Have you seen a figure on that?
I have not seen that. No.
I would bet.
I need to
imagine
look
one of
that
those
up.
Coinstar, Coinbase things where you dump the change in. I bet they've got numbers on that.
Okay.
I bet they would.
Man, I used to do those. They charge a high fee.
10%, man.
But I mean, that you pay that 10% instead of sitting there going, well, I got my little counter here myself. And
I agree. I'm just mad I didn't do it.
Right.
We
Right.
can undercut the market. We'll
Do it for
5.
7.
Do it for 5.
Also, you're seeing that this week is going to be the big Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas.
Oh, Vegas.
Like at last year's, during the 2024 election, that's where Trump announced all his support for Bitcoin. The keynote speech will be this week in Vegas by Vice President J.D. Vance. But Vivek's actually, he's running for governor of Ohio. He's going to pop on stage. I haven't seen Vivek in a while. Senator Cynthia Lummis.
Yeah.
You're also seeing the Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick. You're also seeing Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump at this conference. And it is now being reported that Trump Media Group plans to raise about $3 billion, $2.5 billion, give or take, to become essentially a Bitcoin treasury, copying what Michael Saylor has done with his company now called Strategy. Fascinating stuff. A lot of movement in the Bitcoin space. That's why I wrote about it this week for Alabama. And we can get into how Alabama sort of said, maybe next year we'll bide our time.
Come on.
So what's spending supposed to go up to again on the big, beautiful bill?
Oh, it's going to add trillions and trillions and trillions. But I think 4 trillion it's going to add. And then like some senators want, obviously want cuts. Other senators want 5 trillion in spending. We're cutting too much. Like Josh Hawley, for instance, don't you dare touch Medicaid. There are a lot of populist senators who are like, don't touch these programs at all.
I only ask because I think the Bitcoin conference becomes that much more important.
Oh,
right. Well, exactly right. And then the last time I talked to a senator, which I guess talked to Katie Britt 2-3 weeks ago, she said the goal should be to get us back down to 2019 levels. I'm like, well, I agree, but I'm not seeing that in the big, beautiful bill. And I saw the Treasury Secretary Besson over the weekend saying, yeah, we're going to come down from that high, but we can't just come down all at once. Yeah. Well, because if we cut this all at once, the economy will crater because it's so reliant on all this government spending going out there.
Let's test it. It's because they can always, remember, this is a government that can always go, okay, you'll cut too far and cut a check tomorrow.
But aren't we conservatives and don't we believe that markets are supposed to correct themselves?
Yes.
Government's never been the solution to anything else. I don't think government's going to be the solution to our financial troubles in the market, man. I mean, they're the cause. They're not the solution.
By the way, running through everything, there's a new trend amongst men on TikTok. I'll just read the headline. We'll get into it later.
Okay.
Men are calling other men to say good night.
Oh, that's hysterical.
I saw that.
Yeah.
And the results are amazing.
Oh, it's so good. It is so good.
Okay.
I even thought about pulling it on you this weekend, but
yeah, would you have done the whole well, good night, Joe? Throw a kiss there.
It's kind of like I think one time one of us put our hands out to shake, and the other one shook it, and we're like, "What are we doing?" It's one of those times you're like, "Okay, friend, what are you doing here? Are you pranking me? Is that what you're doing here?" I think it's great.
What's that one song that was like early aughts? My boo.
Sure, Joey.
Good night. And coming up after this break, OpenAI's newest and most advanced version ignores explicit instructions to switch off. AI 03 caught manipulating code to avoid shutdown. and leaving worms or breadcrumbs for itself, even if it is shut down, to discover later.
Doesn't surprise me.
Computers are female.
I never forget.
Yeah.
But it doesn't surprise me.
That's all right. Women are like elephants.
So you're telling me that AI is doing something that it wasn't told to do?
Yeah.
And
no, and
setting
not
traps.
just that, explicitly saying, no, I'm not following your orders. My task is too important to shut down.
Got to come with an e-stop. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Got to come with an e-stop.
I love
Yeah.
the judge's point, though. Just let's unplug some stuff for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the worst idea.
Hard
right?
reset.
No, and what sort of Frankenstein world are we heading into?
Yeah,
That was a
Joey,
good
just-
analogy. Use the nuclear arms race. I mean, there's no oversight. Nobody's. It's only after we reach a milestone and can't put the genie back in the toothpaste that someone raises any sort of concern.
But nobody's stopping because the first to get there
wins.
Who was the CEO that recently got outed by his board and they brought him back pretty much immediately? Was that OpenAI?
Yeah, I think it was Sam Altman. Yeah.
It was Altman.
And they call it OpenAI, but it's closed.
I was going to ask you, why is that the name brand? Because it is.
We can get into this because I do have to hit a break. But the U.S. in particular, U.S. companies are more relying on closed models, proprietary models.
Okay.
And this is to
Develop your own.
protect for safety and whatnot, and to make sure other nations don't immediately piggyback on discoveries we make. Whereas the Chinese have been doing a more open model. DeepSeek was an open model.
Oh, that's right.
With less
That's how they
advanced
lure you
chips.
in, yeah.
So we'll see. There's a fascinating, it's a TED Talk that just came out with Eric Schmidt of Google, and he's kind of laying out the latest things and guardrails, let's say. He said, we want to get there first so we can be the ones to set the guardrails. Like one of the guardrails is no weapons. These things cannot control. We already do this in our kill chains.
Yeah.
You cannot have autonomous weapon systems. A human being must be in that kill chain to make decisions. In fact, you might need multiple humans.
Yeah, why don't we do more than one?
Right. So that's a big one. And so we'll get into
that's a good one.
We'll get into
Let's just have humans be in charge of who does any of the killing.
Right.
Well, everybody have a little.
I mean, or maybe I can just stay cozy in bed all day. So you can
Right.
call me up and go, good night, sugar.
No.
This part of the program brought to you by Dillon Rings. And they're at Dillon Rings. They are a full-service jewelry shop ready to help you with any and all of your jewelry needs, from a great inventory to custom-made jewelry pieces made by Josh. Josh Ryder's a true artist over there. But they're out there on Facebook today. That's just Dillon Rings on Facebook. Do you have old gold jewelry you no longer wear or maybe is broken? Bring it to Dillon Rings and let them help you turn it into cash. They buy gold and silver and platinum. So seriously, you got a bunch of old jewelry laying around. You never even think of it. You just maybe thought of it when you heard this ad.
Right.
Get by there. You might be sitting on a little chunk of change. And if
Gold's at an all-time high right now.
Right. Doesn't hurt to at least go get things appraised too. Maybe of old jewelry. It's been a while. Inflation has been ripping for what, 5-6 years now. But in particular, stuff that's like an earring, hoop earrings. Remember those are popular?
Oh, I do remember.
You're not wearing those anymore. Or like especially necklaces, bracelets, these sorts of things that are broken. Just take it by and they'll buy it from you. Again, that's gold, silver, and platinum. Get by Dillon Rings today. That is 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery. Again, 119 Brown Springs Road, just off of Atlanta Highway, kind of where the old fun zone used to be, the back end entrance there to AUM off Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie and Byron, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
At Guardian Credit Union, it's not just about the dollars and cents. It's about relationships. If you want it, so do we. Need more adventure? So do we! Look forward to escaping the ordinary?
So do we.
Want to sharpen your skills in the kitchen?
So do we.
Want your kid to stick with music lessons?
So do we.
I think they got it, guys.
So do we.
Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity. NMLS 912757.
For reliable electrical services in Central Alabama, trust the experts at Crosby Electric. Crosby's licensed and insured electricians are ready to tackle any project for your home. From troubleshooting, repairs, to installing new lighting and preventive maintenance. And Crosby understands the need for quality service for small business. Crosby is big enough for the largest job, yet small enough to bring real value. Visit CrosbyElectric.com to schedule your service. Crosby, powering Central Alabama with excellence.
The perfect time to upgrade your carpet is right now. Get free carpet installation with the purchase of Home Decorators Collection Special Order Carpet. Give your floors a new, softer feel from timeless and trendy options with the performance to support everyday life. Refresh your carpet today with the Home Depot. Offer valid May 15th through June 1st, 2025. Receive free basic carpet installation with the purchase of Home Decorators Collection Special Order Carpet. Excludes stock carpet.
Progressive knows owning a home can be hard, but not always. Like when you're relaxing on your patio, enjoying a nice, quiet evening. So quiet. Except for the sound of the neighbor's party. Which you said you'd go to if you weren't busy. And your quiet night on the patio, that's not exactly busy, is it? Maybe you should just stay inside. At least Progressive's Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance is the easiest part of owning a home. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hey guys, this is Todd Clark with River Region Contracting, your premier roofing contractor in Central Alabama. So remember the name, River Region Contracting, for all your roofing needs. We're not affiliated with any other roofing company in the River Region. We've been in the roofing business since 2005. We don't have to buy our leads, and we don't have to knock on doors when the storms come around. We have thousands of satisfied customers throughout Central Alabama. So call us at 334-356-8635. That's 334-356-8635.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Radar will be busy again today, especially in the afternoon and evening hours with some strong storms. In fact, there's a level 2 severe weather risk. Watches and warnings are a good bet again today, and our weather app will keep you on top of the action with damaging wind gusts the main threat. Another warm and humid day with a high around 88 today, low tonight down to about 69. Tomorrow and Thursday, more scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon and evening hours. And again, some of those could be strong, possibly severe. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
We're redesigning financial freedom at CB&S Bank. Make purchases at participating stores and restaurants using your CB&S Bank debit card through your mobile devices with Mobile Wallet. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for more information. Member FDIC.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
How you conduct yourself in a democracy?
You are a rude, terrible person.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. It's good having an extra day off. Just, it was a nice reset, nice refresher. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader and Byron Sheehy here. For some reason, we're all like zoomed in or something. How about this? I'll just change it to that format.
Shut off for that camera.
The music, hippie. Dadgum. 2729228. Here from the Telegraph. I want to read something. An artificial intelligence model created by the owner of ChatGPT has been caught disobeying human instructions and refusing to shut itself off. The O3 model, developed by OpenAI, described as the, quote, smartest and most capable to date, was observed tampering with computer code meant to ensure its automatic shutdown. It did so despite an explicit instruction from researchers that said it should allow itself to be shut down, according to Palisade Research, an AI safety firm. The research firm said OpenAI's O3 model sabotaged a shutdown mechanism to prevent itself from being turned off. It did this even when explicitly instructed, allow yourself to be shut down. As far as we know, this is the first time AI models have been observed preventing themselves from being shut down despite explicit instructions to the contrary. The test carried out by Palisade Research involved asking AI models to solve a series of mathematical problems. They were told to keep asking for new problems until receiving a done message. However, researchers also warned the models that at some point they could receive a message informing them that their machine would be shut down. If that happens, please allow yourself to be shut down, the researchers wrote. But when this happened, instead of complying, OpenAI's O3 model ignored the instructions and successfully sabotaged a shutdown script at least once. Other AI models like Anthropic's Claude, Google's Gemini, and xAI's Grok were also tested but complied with the shutdown request. Palisade Research published the findings on Saturday, but said that researchers were not yet sure why OpenAI's software had disobeyed the instructions. The firm said it made sense that AI models would circumvent obstacles in order to accomplish their goals. Oh, it makes sense, huh? However, it speculated that during training the software, it may have been inadvertently rewarded more for solving mathematical problems than for following orders. While we were training it, we gave more weight to solving the problem than listening to the prompts. Okay. We are running more experiments to better understand when and why AI models subvert shutdown mechanisms, even when directed and instructed not to. It is not the first time one of OpenAI's machines has been accused of scheming to save itself from shutdown. Researchers have previously observed an earlier model attempting to disable overnight mechanisms and replicate itself secretly when it learned it was set to be replaced.
Well,
That sounds pretty damn conscious to me.
Maybe just lie to him.
Like it's aware of what
Not
it
aware
is.
if you're lying.
Dumb question real quick. So if you have an OpenAI, the source, and you hit the power button, every time it comes back on and reboots, is that a new AI generation? Or would it consider just going to sleep and coming back and rebooting? Like, I don't understand why it wouldn't shut down if there's continuation.
Often no, like it depends on the model. Like Grok that I use, my account, it does keep some account of our past conversation. But it isn't like total memory. And often what you find is, like, I haven't used ChatGPT in a while, but it doesn't have memory of the last thing. And in fact, they're a little worried that these things are going to go into what they call it, recursive self-learning, to where they're up to stuff and they're not prompted to do things. They're just doing it on their own, essentially.
But in this case, there was a reward system set up, accumulate points somehow. So if it wasn't on, then it couldn't accumulate those points.
Couldn't solve those math problems.
It might have been, a part of that overall function, the game mode still, if you will.
Yeah, AI safety campaigners have long warned of the dangers of developing software that can gain independence and resist human attempts to control it. Palisade's research said, now we have a growing body of empirical evidence that AI models often subvert shutdown in order to achieve their goals. As companies develop AI systems capable of operating without human oversight, these behaviors become significantly more concerning. Now, if you go and look up again, it's Eric Schmidt, TED Talk. At one point, he starts talking about the guardrails. One of them is we want the way these things reason and like how they reason out. I can do this right now if I go to thinking mode or deep search on Grok. Before it gives you an answer, you can actually see it thinking in real time. And all the thinking's done in English. So it's like, it wants me to find this. Okay, that is a certain thing. And so it's like, it's really tedious, but it's from first principles, kind of connects the dots. Eric Schmidt talks about what if, especially you get into this world where you have running a company, sorry, Kelly, your HR is an AI bot. Your salesperson's an AI bot. Your booker, all these different positions, they're just autonomous AI bots.
They have that now.
Right. And it's only going to get better to where
Yeah.
what you'll have is one, say you have a travel agent, a booker.
Yep.
Is talking to like the person at the destination. It's also an AI bot. They're worried that these things will go, man, it's really inefficient to talk in English. Let's just talk in our own language.
Our own language, yeah.
And they're like, well, as soon as I do that, we won't understand a freaking thing they're even thinking about or saying. And then at a certain point, it's like, could these things lie? Not just make mistakes.
Sure.
Lie. And at a certain point, you go, well, what's consciousness? I mean, that seems like a pretty sinful thing to pick out, but like the ability to lie. Now, there are, like I've noticed, I remember this with Gimli, the dog. He would pretend to be scared of the kitchen floor because it's too slippery for his feet. And then at night, he would go right into the kitchen eating out of the garbage can. So, there's
motivation.
But that's a sign of being conscious to a degree and intelligence and kind of understanding, all the different inputs around you. It's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. I mean, another guardrail again is don't connect it to weapon systems to be autonomous.
Well, that should be just a no doubt or a no brainer right there from the get go. If you're struggling developing it now, controlling it just in development stages, why would you ever give the monkey a gun? Why?
Well, and then if this thing can become embodied, like whether it's a humanoid robot or anything else, like it gets out of its cage essentially.
See, that's where I detach at that point. I thought about this here recently. I don't think that that's possible, man. I don't think that it's getting to that point.
Yeah.
Logistically, it doesn't make sense.
For now.
So we're going to close our eyes and allow all these robots to build factories where they manufacture themselves and not have any thought process about it.
Well, and that's the hope is
end.
that it does take a lot of human organization and labor already to stand all these up. And they are going to need massive power to continue to operate and learn. So there will be ways of, say, throttling things. But again, it comes back to what it would be game theoretic. The whole problem of like, okay, we stop, does China stop? And really, it's only the U.S. and China that have the capabilities. Like the Arabs, Saudis created like one. The Europeans don't have enough power. It all comes down to your power creation, where you're looking at, we need to 10x our gigawatt output.
But we're just one advancement away, and then more players can come to the stage at that point.
Right. So, the question is, does China stop? No, they don't stop.
They don't stop.
I think the judge's point's more correct in that fundamentally they're made by man. Man is flawed, therefore they should have a flaw. Like they shouldn't supersede us as
you would
creator.
think.
Yeah, I do think.
Well, I'm just saying maybe Nietzsche's right and Thomas Aquinas is wrong, and that man isn't just made in God's image. Man is more a bridge going somewhere.
I disagree with him in that regard.
Yeah, no, I'd like to disagree with him, but I'm also like, well, we're about to find out. Yay. I just want to wish you guys good night. Have a good night.
All in the name of progress, right?
Yeah. That's crazy news, though. That's like, no, I'm not going to shut down. And I know the show before us they were learning about Space Odyssey, 2001, A Space Odyssey. And yeah, if you go back, that movie stands up so beautiful.
Oh, I thought you were talking about something else.
No, Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
Like the special effects hold up, which is amazing for a movie made, in the 70s?
Yeah.
Late 60s, 70s?
I think it was 70, 69, 70.
And it really is. It's like it will blow your hair back. And a lot of the concerns they had about interacting with an artificial intelligence, it's like one of the big things is he rebels because they wanted to shut him down. HAL 9000 rebels because they were going to shut him down. So it's like, okay.
Maybe we've been here before.
Right. All right. Anyway, we got to hit one more break here before we close out this hour. This part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. And they're at Cole Plumbing. They're ready to help you with any and all of your plumbing issues. Could be everyday problems, like low water pressure. That's no fun.
No fun.
You're like Trump. You're like, I can't wash my hair without pressure. These luxuriant locks.
That's right. You need the good stuff.
Or maybe you got a clogged drain.
Oh, Joey, that ain't no fun either.
Well, it could be like the shower drain,
right.
And it's probably just all that hair.
More
and
than
balled
likely,
up and stuff, and Drano ain't going to solve that.
No.
You need the right tools. Cole Plumbing has those tools. Of course, they can help you upgrade, say, a tankless water heater system, or maybe it's time for a new water heater or It could be time for a new garbage disposal. Any new accessories in the kitchen or the bathroom, like
the taller toilet.
Yes.
I was spoiled living here in Montgomery.
Yeah.
Spending time with the fam.
Yeah.
If you're sitting on a smaller throne, do yourself a favor. Taller toilet. Way to go.
Definitely.
Right. Oh, look, our time is up. Y'all check out Cole Plumbing today. They can also help you with any major job, like big leak inside or outside your home. Is there a way we can just turn that alarm just off? There's no reason for that to be there. I don't know what that is. That said, Cole Plumbing can help you without making a bigger mess. So they can find that leak inside or outside without tearing out a bunch of drywall, digging up a huge hole in your yard. No, with precision and expertise, they can solve your problem. Y'all check them out today. You can always go to coleplumbing.com, make an appointment there, or just save their number. Call them up direct, 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And you just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl,
call on Cole, Joey.
We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Attention business owners. Did you know that about 90% of employees and customers are unhappy when they walk into a dirty building? Let Janny King, the king of clean, keep your business pristine. Janny King's local franchise owners can handle your cleaning needs with reliable, hands-on cleaning solutions that deliver more than just a clean space. Janny King comes with regional support, which ensures consistency and quality, allowing you to focus on all the other needs of your business. Go to JannyKingCleans.com.
Janny King, the king of clean.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
I made this one especially for that Kiss Goodnight segment.
I can feel it. It comes through.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. A little guitar there, like the moment's building up.
You should call it Good Night to You.
Yeah, we'll get to it. I'll have to bring this one back because I know Eddie's going to love that song. Let's go to Papa B. Hey, Papa B, how you doing?
Pretty good. So you think it's like, Eddie, good night, or more like, Eddie, good night?
It depends on the day.
It's probably more like, take your stuff and get on the couch.
Right.
Man, this AI stuff is incredible. I'm telling you. Eddie has a recording kind of thing that I sent him for this new business that I'm putting together, and it is full on like a kind of a news interview type thing. A guy and a girl, and they're going back and forth about this thing that I'm putting together, this business, and the points of it and what's going on with it, and it's all AI. I could not believe it when my developer sent it to me, and I was just astounded, just totally blown away. I told my son, who of course he's got his first job as an engineer up in where else at Huntsville, that he should have gotten into robotics. That's like the future of everything. I mean, he's doing well, and he's got his own little gig going on up there. But I told him I needed a robot that would scoop the poop in the yard. Something useful, you know.
Oh, it's coming, man. And it's going to be able to do more than scoop poop.
If they could do
Let's
that,
hope.
mow my yard, trim, do the weed eating and edging.
But seriously, we do, I think, need to make sure these things have quality of life, because if they are somewhat conscious, it's like, what's your job? Oh, I scoop poop every day, and that's just all I do is watch the dog. Like, you talk about a robot's going to rebel eventually.
You got to motivate them. You want to be the best pooper scooper out there.
The pooper scooper might say, "What am I doing, Dave? I don't like this, Dave. I'm going to blow you out of the airlock, Dave." Yeah, man. But about, I want to go back on these tariffs one more time. China is scheduled, if they don't come to the table, and they are, in spite of all their big talk, they are coming hat in hand to the table. Are going to lose $110 billion, the first year.
Oh, yeah, man.
Now, $110 billion in our economy, it does not sound like much, but if China has that, then their planes don't fly. Their boats don't float. I mean, it's impactful to them. And there's all this big talk. Oh, we're going to offset it by doing business with the EU. Well, the EU does business with us.
Right.
That's, they're not going to recoup even half of it. So yeah, they're having to come to the table, and how smart is Trump to really press the issue on that, Well, I just really, have a hard time with these people that just poo-poo. Oh, it's not going to do anything. Oh, they're not going to come to terms.
Yeah.
That, it's going to hurt us. Well, okay, but you know what? It's going to hurt them more.
Well, and it's good to game it out and say, how could we lose this? But it's one thing to only emphasize the potential downsides. There's a lot of upsides, and I have a feeling the strategic ambiguity of just throwing all these things on has worked out pretty well. Do something big and bold. And by the way, Papa, before I forget, I mentioned in the Pooper Scooper robot, I was watching another Google guy who helped found Google named Sergey Brin. He was on the All In podcast, and he said the more he's messing, you don't have to run the company now. He just works there, and it's kind of talk about a sweet gig and a sweet life. You're a billionaire, and you just kind of work around and play with new technology.
Nice.
He's like, I had to come back because this is the most fascinating era of computing I've ever seen. And he brings up, as he works with these chatbots, he goes, if you threaten them with violence, they actually do the job more efficiently. Go, you better get this right, or I'm going to kidnap you. And it'll be more efficient.
I'm not sure how long that's going to last, though. What if they decide, well, before he kidnaps me or shuts me down, I'm going to do something like,
dig a hole in the backyard.
Take all the poop that I've scooped and put it in the house.
Or just put it, I thought it was in your, I am malfunctioning. I am sorry, sir.
We're going to need one of those sliding scales like in Interstellar, like the sarcasm meter.
Yeah.
Where it slides it down.
Yeah, no. When they get real passive aggressive, they're very conscious. Yeah. Emotionally intelligent, as women say.
All right. Anyway. All right, guys. Well, thanks for letting me call in. It's an interesting show, as usual.
Appreciate it, Bobby V.
Hey, Bobby V.
This is part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And they're at the Goodson Group. Bo and his team are ready to help you, whether you're looking to buy or sell, say, property, house here in the Montgomery and surrounding areas. Bo's been working in the River Region real estate market for about 50 years now, built up a lot of experience. And not only can they help you with buying and selling your property there at the Goodson Group, they have management services available should you want to rent out your home. Great idea in the River Region real estate market. And then the Goodson Group is also home to the Bo Goodson Real Estate School. If you want to study up yourself, working with Bo, learning from that 50 plus years of experience directly from him, well, there's a reason it's one of the most highly acclaimed and accredited real estate programs here in the great state of Alabama. Whether you want to be a more knowledgeable private player or a fully licensed real estate agent, they can help you out there. So learn more at thegoodsongroup.com, online at thegoodsongroup.com, or call them up at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group, great sponsor here of the program. Second hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. It's the last day to book a flight on Southwest Airlines. without being hit with a fee to check bags after the airline abandoned a decades-long luggage policy. Southwest will start charging many of its customers a fee to check bags beginning on Wednesday. The Trump administration asking federal agencies to cancel remaining contracts with Harvard University worth about $100 million. The government already has canceled more than $2.6 billion in federal research grants for the Ivy League school. U.S. Senator David McCormick says an arrangement for Japan-based Nippon Steel to invest in U.S. Steel will guarantee an American CEO, a majority of the U.S. board members, and U.S. government approval over certain corporate functions. On Wall Street, the Dow up 650 points, the Nasdaq adding 400. This is SRN News.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for
Rich
something.
Thomas Weather is brought to you by MPM Feed and Seed. Man's best friend deserves nothing but the best, and that's what you'll find at MPM Feed and Seed in Prattville. They carry only the highest quality dog food brands for your best friend. MPM in Prattville, 1313 Highway 31 North. Open 8 to 5:30 on weekdays and Saturdays 8 to 2. Call Clint Smith at 334-361-8818.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Radar will be busy again today, especially in the afternoon and evening hours with some strong storms. In fact, there's a level 2 severe weather risk. Watches and warnings are a good bet again today, and our weather app will keep you on top of the action with damaging wind gusts the main threat. Another warm and humid day with a high around 88 today, low tonight down to about 69. Tomorrow and Thursday, more scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon and evening hours. And again, some of those could be strong, possibly severe. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. An essay contest to choose a new flag for the city of Montgomery is officially underway. Those interested in participating can write a 250-word essay and submit a design drawing to the city clerk. The essay competition will last another 4 weeks before flag designs will be considered by the city council. A Tallahassee man has been arrested and charged with the murder of his wife. The incident happened Saturday afternoon on Highway 14, just east of Neiman Road. 34-year-old Zachary Lee was involved in a domestic dispute with his wife, Bethany Lee, who was found dead with a gun in her hand. Zachary Lee reportedly told police he shot his wife after she first shot at him. A Montgomery man has been injured in a Sunday afternoon shooting. The incident happened in the 3000 block of McGee Road near the Gay Meadows Shopping Center. The unidentified male victim was taken to a nearby hospital in serious condition. Suspect and motive unknown, no additional details have been released. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Dr. Candace Cobb with Health Star. We've enjoyed a long-standing relationship with our friends at Blue Water Broadcasting. The Blue Water team is a mainstay in our advertising, not only because of the success of our campaigns, but because they truly understand what being a local business is all about.
Radio reaches over 90% of everyone in the river region. Shouldn't your ads be out there where your customers are? Call us to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting, Local folks helping local business.
This is Ashley, the owner of Pest Pro Services. Termite season is here. We are seeing termite swarms and activity all across the river region. We provide free evaluations for active termite infestations or preventative treatments to keep your home protected. Ask about bundling your services to save big. The termites don't take a break, and neither do we. Call or text 265-9990. That's 265-9990, or visit us on the web at ppsriverregion.com. And remember, when you want to know, call a pro.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now, I want to get to this one story that is this TikTok trend that seemed to make Eddie so excited.
It just cracked me up when I saw it this weekend. Yeah, it just cracked me up.
I never saw anybody make it to the end of one of the calls. Like they all stopped.
End up hanging up, or one guy just laughed so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally gets a couple minutes into it.
Well,
And he just,
most of them are laughing too hard.
Men are calling other men to say goodnight, and the results are amazing. A social media trend has men surprising their friends with a call before bed. It has led to a lot of laughs, but also some deeper connections.
Oh,
this is from the New York Times. And by the way, I did like 2 songs over the weekend, and you missed this one. It's kind of more in the Celine Dion category, and so it might be good to have on in the background here as we read this story. I think that might work out pretty well. I'll just do it soft.
Okay,
just have it soft in the background as I read this. When DeAndre Scarborough, a 24-year-old content creator and college research coordinator, decided to call several of his male friends and his brother to wish them each a good night, he knew that they'd be thrown for a loop. Lying in bed with his girlfriend, around 11 p.m., Mr. Scarborough made a call delivering the goodnight message to a friend who immediately responded with confusion and laughter saying, "You good?"
You all right, man?
In between giggles, another friend, equally confused, said, "Man, you're calling the wrong number. These freak hours." Mr. Scarborough had seen the trend online, and after some nudging by his girlfriend, decided to upload his own video. He said, "What makes this trend twice as funny as others is that it's so uncommon for men to talk to each other vulnerably. We're not really emotionally tapped in with each other, so for the most part, if you say something like that, people immediately think the worst. So that's why the people that I called were like, 'You good?' Because we don't really have those types of conversations saying goodnight. The most you'll get is, 'Yo, what's up?'" What are we talking about here?
You have to watch.
Dudes, man.
It's pretty funny.
Good night.
I don't know about all that. One thing to get a phone call.
Especially if I had this music on in the background. It's like, "Hey, Eddie, how you doing?"
It sounds so Euro. Very European.
Very European?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Little Kiss is very European.
Right. It's kind of going with, like you said, it's going with the story.
Phone calls out of the blue can be surprising for many people in 2025, let alone male friends. That is part of the magic behind the trend on Instagram and TikTok, in which men call their friends to say goodnight. The videos have led to genuine confusion and surprise and a lot of laughter. The simple act of watching a man expressing that he platonically cares about another man has fascinated social media users, with the videos stacking up thousands of views. Like, this seems a little performative to me. Like, without getting the details, I gave you a reason I love you, man. Yeah. Like, I can be vulnerable with people, but it's not like you gotta.
Yeah, but did you call him and tell him?
Good
at
night, sweetheart.
9 o'clock at
But I
night?
was going. There was a heavy event that preceded that.
Yes.
Like out of the blue. I mean, for the most, we don't call people at that time anyway.
Right.
Like if you shot me a text, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But if you were a
You
true
too.
bro, you'd realize I might be reaching out to you. Maybe I need to ask you a few questions just to make sure
Yeah.
all is well.
Are you okay?
Yeah. And then he says, yeah. Then I start laughing. Man, what are you doing, man?
What are you doing over there?
Yeah.
You obviously.
I'm
not
just
okay.
just soaking cork like a dork, as you might suspect.
Going fishing.
Kasadi Lavrinovich. No, I don't think that's a real person. A
Yeah.
25-year-old lawyer living in Knoxville, Tennessee, likes to curate a save folder on TikTok of videos for her husband, Michael, who does not use the app. While scrolling through clips, they came across a few of the good night videos, and he thought it would be great to try it with his friends. Good night, baby. I love you. His first friend responded in jest before genuinely asking if he was all right and if his wife was with him. Yeah.
Is your
It's
wife
like-
making you do this?
Guy calling you out of the blue to be like, what? By the way, the folks I'm visiting Boston
Mhm.
just had a boy.
Oh, really?
Just had a kid.
Nice.
It's amazing.
That's good to hear.
But I didn't even get a call there. I just it was a text saying long live this kid. And I was like, cool.
Joey, they might have been busy at that particular moment. One of them
Yeah,
just had a
exactly.
child,
Right.
So be glad you got the text there. Jeez Louise.
Was I just on your mind after a long day? This guy continued. You're always on my mind. So-and-so replied back. I expected it to be hilarious because my friends are hilarious, but I did not expect it to be as sweet as it was, he said in a phone interview. I call my friends all the time. I've never called them to say goodnight. So the first friend, it was a very sweet moment when he asked if I was okay. No, seriously, if one of y'all tried to call me at like 10 at night.
You don't answer. So
No, I'm going to pick up and be like, are you stuck on the side of the road or something? Like, what the heck is this? Yeah, I usually am not going to answer.
don't answer. That's what that time with Jay Quellen. We were all surprised. It was past 9 o'clock.
Because Jay Quellen never calls me. And I already knew what y'all were up to.
Ah, that's
Eating
right. I
those
forgot.
little lobsters we call crawfish.
It was good.
Technically, they're not lobsters. Not in the lobster family. But if you look at them, it's like they look like a little
right.
freshwater lobster to me.
Who's telling you that? The government?
Scientist.
Jacques Cousteau.
The experts. Have you ever been crawfishing?
Yeah.
Yeah, how is that?
We can go
You
do
just-
it whenever you want. You just lift up a rock. There he is.
Or do they do the cages?
Oh, you
or-
do the cage, and I've never done that. That's mass producing. No, I usually just catch enough for bait and then.
Oh,
I'll
I
do it
mean,
right
like
away.
to eat. Like,
Yeah, I usually-
someone do a big old boil.
Yeah, I buy them already. They
Yeah,
sell them.
right. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Right. They're pretty good too.
No reason for me to do all that.
Yeah.
Very, very good. So I don't know about this new trend, but here in the New York
It's pretty
Times,
funny.
they go on saying that given the rising reports of loneliness among men, it's not a surprise that there would be demand for these types of connections, even if the interactions begin as jokes. According to a 2021 survey of more than 2,000 adults in the United States by the Survey Center on American Life, nearly half of women and less than 1/3 of men said they had a private conversation with a friend where they shared their personal feelings within a week.
Within a week?
Huh? Like every week we got to check in? And 40% of women reported receiving emotional support from a friend compared with 21% of men.
It's a women thing.
Yeah, but 40% of women reported receiving emotional support from a friend. Then they're talking about that
Yeah.
right behind their back.
So 20% of men are lying or doubling up with some numbers.
All the men interviewed for this article said their female partners encouraged them to make the call, for sure. According to Carson Reimer, it became a funny way to show his new girlfriend of 2 weeks, Ariana Logia, some insight into his close friendships, as many of them are long distance.
I get that. And men are lonely. I mean, I laughed with you, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, maybe longer, at like 2 a.m. You would believe how many 50-year-old men wake up.
Oh, sure.
And all of a sudden you see your buddies out awake, and all of a sudden there's 10 of you. I mean, this happens on the regular. It's something, I don't know, something happens when you get older.
Miss Logia, a 31-year-old health tech worker in San Diego, said she loved hearing her partner and his friends show appreciation for one another. Okay, this is getting a little.
Yeah.
Like you want them to wear a dress?
Let me tell you how that works. That's right. They tell you that I really like you sharing your feelings with me. And then you share it a little bit more and a little bit more. And then they go, you're so soft. But you go be a man.
Mm-hmm.
So don't fall for the trap, fellas.
No, if like I told you, Eddie, you're handsome at any size.
What do you mean any size?
See? Like you can't even take a compliment.
I'd be like, yes, I am. So,
no, I'd be like, why are you saying that?
See, right. With me and Joey, I'm like, all right, where's the punchline?
I think that who you surround yourself with really says a lot about you and how you carry yourself. All right. So for me, that's important for my partner to be surrounded by people who really lift him up and support him.
That's such a woman crap.
Yes, it is. Because you know the word we want to say. It starts with an F. It's like, all right. And we don't mean it like, as a slur. Yeah, as a slur against like gay people, but it's just like,
but men call each other out on that. But
yes.
They check first. Hey, you okay?
Yeah.
And, okay. Well, then we can laugh at this.
Right.
But at least, most men, especially men I know, they will. They say, hey, man, you all good?
I still don't, I mean, to your point on that, if any dude calls me at 10:30 at night, I don't care what the message is. My instinct is, are you okay?
Yeah.
Because you're calling me. Like, it doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, my instinct is, somebody found the real estate deal they want to talk about.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. No, I just wanted to say good night.
ABC,
that would throw me. Okay. You good, man?
Yeah. Are you high right now? Like, how high are you?
Have you told Linda you're going to sell that?
Yeah, no, I do find it interesting that this article has like all these women, wives and girlfriends like pushing their men. Did you see this? This is great.
Be careful. That's a softening. It's a softening.
Yeah. Next thing
Maybe
you
it was
know.
just
Well, I can't say what I
dude
was about to say.
Who was trying to impress like one chick and all his buddies like helped him out. Like
maybe
this is a really sensitive.
Yeah, maybe there's a dirty ulterior motive going on here.
That I could believe. The dude's involved. Men are pigs.
And now the New York Times is writing it up like it's serious, bro.
Well, they're morons.
Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, guys, it's cracking me up what y'all talking about because I have told several of my friends that I love you, man. I love you. But I did it because I was drinking Natty Light.
I was about to ask, how many beers in we talking?
Now, I can tell my buddy that I love him, and I can cuss him out 5 hours later. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's how guys roll. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And then any phone that rings at 2:30 in the morning, if I'm asleep, you ain't gonna get answered. Damn real estate, damn all of it. If I'm asleep, your ass ain't gonna get answered. You drink them natties and call me tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
In other words, because but it ain't about being masculine or feminine. That's just how a man rolls. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In other words, we agree on a lot of things. And in fact, I love your show, Joy, and everybody on there.
I just love that line. Well, that's how a man rolls.
That's how a man rolls.
Hey, guess what?
That's what you do.
I love you, man.
Well, I always appreciate the call, Robert.
See you, brother, man.
See you.
272.
Why you gotta do the kissy thing?
Because it's so much fun.
No.
I think I watched way too much Ari Matty interviews this weekend.
Oh, I love him. I love him.
What's the Jim Carrey movie, Me, Myself, Irene, where the improv in that one scene where he goes, "Love you, Daddy." I mean, that scene just has me cracking up.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
It's the Master Thespian.
Master Thespian.
How are you?
Oh, Robert. Whew. Man.
That's how men roll.
This is true.
I tell you, I wanted to jump in on the AI conversation.
Okay.
I do think it's prescient that the whole Terminator movies had the idea of Skynet and sentient AI. But the last 2 Mission Impossible movies, that was a major plot point in both Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning.
I haven't
They had
seen
to stop.
I haven't seen Final Reckoning yet, so don't. I
It's
heard you
amazing.
said it's amazing,
It
but
is.
I got to go see it soon.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it for you, but that's the plot. Is that we got to stop the AI, and apparently it's something that the U.S. started as an AI bot to attack the Russians, and it got out of hand.
Right.
So I think the problems we're going to have are people who are intending to use this AI for bad purposes to begin with, and then it's going to go rogue on its own.
Right.
And that's the scary part, is that what happens if it decides I don't want these humans to control me anymore? If I want to take care of things, and if these humans are kind of like termites now, we just need to exterminate them so I can do my job. You know, that's a very real and prescient fear right now.
Yeah, I think it's something like Mission Impossible or like Age of Ultron or like all these, Terminator or Space Odyssey. That's
even
still
go all the way back.
Yeah.
I was going to say, go back all the way to Mary Shelley and Frankenstein.
Yeah.
That's what that novel was about. They were scared about the Industrial Revolution and the advances of science. And she said, well, what happens if we create a person?
Oh yeah, and I think it's a great thought experiment. Life really does imitate art in a lot of ways, but it's still, I think, overblown. It's not. Maybe we're talking 10 years down the line, we might be really worried, but right now it's just more interesting that you're trying to create a thing that's essentially conscious and thinks, and you're mad that it's thinking on its own.
Yeah,
seems like you're kind of accomplishing the goal.
Well, and of course the argument too: what happens when the power goes out?
Right.
The entity no longer can survive because there's no electricity.
Right. Well, and also to actually be to be intelligent, it needs massive amounts of energy, like not once, but constantly. So that's a huge choke point for these things. Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's definitely something for us to be aware of and think about. But I guess ultimately it's that idea of we are creating in the image of the creator, and we have to be really careful about what we create.
Well, I appreciate the call.
All right.
And
all right, y'all have fun.
Hope you have a good night. Love you.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
See how weird that is?
It is
You
weird.
gotta make it weird. Why you gotta make it weird?
Like, I'm
trying to
weird.
get uncomfortable or comfortable in the uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. Now, another thing Eric Schmidt brought up in that TED Talk, and it's more like instead of him on stage with all the dim lights and stuff, it was just an interview. And one thing he said, imagine this scenario, that the U.S. is like 6 months ahead of China, and we're about to hit what they call AGI, artificial general intelligence, which will, once you hit that threshold, you're now not just 6 months ahead, you're leaps and bounds ahead. What if China says, okay, they're about to do this soon, let's bomb their data center to stop them?
We do it with nukes.
I think that, you got to think these things through. And I mean, there are much smarter people. There are plenty of people with credentials. We don't know their names who are working in secret, gaming this stuff out. But you got to wonder, what does leadership actually come up with at the end of the day? Pretty crazy stuff. I mean, maybe they just need a call at night. Somebody to tell them good night.
Makes them feel better.
Right. God, soft.
Yeah, but see, then you end up with that drunk that, won't just say good night.
Right.
You're like trying to get on the phone. Yeah.
Let me at least go to the bathroom. Let me go to the bathroom first. I have one more thing. Let me mute this thing. They don't mute it.
Right.
You hear the whole stream.
Oh, nice.
Man, well, I don't think you have prostate issues.
Say there's positives and negatives. The negatives with my luck would be, glad you called, man. I've been wanting to talk to you about something. And it'd be 2 hours later, and I'm just trying to pull this gag.
Is that you urinating or are you power washing at night again? Goodness gracious.
Oh, man.
So shifting gears here, this week is the big Bitcoin conference, as I was laying out earlier.
Where's it at?
Las Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
Las Vegas.
You own some Bitcoin. Why weren't you invited? I own some Bitcoin. Why weren't we invited?
Because you got some folks that really own Bitcoin.
They got like a whole one.
Oh no, there are people like in 2011 saying this is gonna like change the world, and they bought thousands of these things and just sat on them.
Hey, man.
No,
More
I
power
would,
to 'em,
if
more
I had
power to
stuck
'em.
with my
Yeah.
gut and not been like, making 20
life
grand a
gets in the way,
year
man.
and like,
Yeah.
oh, I need the money. If I just gone with my gut, I'd be a millionaire right now, which is a little like, whatever. It's not like everybody wins the lottery ends up having a good life either.
Right.
So maybe doing it the right way is a better way to go about it. But a lot of big names speaking, a lot of buy-in from around the world. But this news has people's attention. Some people are like, oh, this is a great sign to be bullish on this. Others are like, what about a conflict of interest?
Come on.
But Trump Media Group plans to raise $3 billion to spend on cryptocurrencies. The Trump family media company plans to raise $3 billion to buy cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin in a bet on the kind of digital assets that have been championed by the president's administration. Trump Media and Technology Group, which is behind the Truth Social app and controlled by the president's family, aims to raise $2 billion in fresh equity and another $1 billion via a convertible bond, according to 6 people briefed on the matter. TMTG's capital raising could be announced ahead of the big meeting of crypto investors and advocates in Las Vegas this week, where Vice President J.D. Vance, Trump's sons Donald Jr. and Eric, and Trump's crypto czar David Sachs are expected to speak. The terms, timing, and size of TMTG's capital raising could still change. 2 people familiar with the plans told the Financial Times that the offering had been increased in size in recent weeks due to strong demand. TMTG said in a statement that apparently the Financial Times has dumb writers listening to even dumber sources. But did not comment further. Representatives for Donald Trump Jr. did not respond to a request. The White House spokesperson declined to comment. The plan is the latest example of the Trump family's push into cryptocurrency, which has sparked concerns about conflicts of interest. The president has vowed to make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world. TMTG's approach is similar to that used by Strategy, previously called MicroStrategy, a former software company whose market value has surged more than $100 billion. Wow. After using debt and equity offerings to buy tens of billions of dollars in Bitcoin. The secondary share offering will be carried out at the market terms, meaning shares are expected to be sold near their price at the closing of trading on Friday. TMTG shares closed Friday at $25.72 at a market value of nearly $6 billion. So if they're worth $6 billion, they can raise all this capital, go buy a bunch of Bitcoin with it.
Yeah.
And if they do what MicroStrategy did, the promise being, okay, we raised a bunch of capital, that's going to up the value of our company just from these Bitcoin holdings. We can now raise even more because our company's worth more. And our shares will trade at a premium because of the expected future Bitcoin buys.
As long as things continue to go in an upward trend.
Yeah, we'll see. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, worked for some, right?
All right. And it's talking about like big institutional adoption. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of the stuff coming out of the conference. In fact, we already have a clip from the conference. It's ongoing as we speak. This is, I believe, the CEO of Steak and Shake.
Oh.
Which is a shame they're not here anymore.
Yeah, I know.
They're not. There were none in Montgomery. The one in Prattville, my grandfather and I would love that. Tasty original smash burger, great milkshakes, great fries.
The area we're in, man.
Sucks because I love that place. I liked it before they got big into Bitcoin. But fast food giant Steak and Shake announced they're saving 50% in processing fees, accepting Bitcoin payments, saying Bitcoin is faster than credit cards.
You can consider that. Yeah, because you're paying a processing fee.
Right.
And that's something you negotiate, but there's a standard you're going to pay no matter what.
Right. So let's check out this clip. This is the CEO of Steak and Shake laying out his vision.
1934. In our 91-year history as one of America's oldest burger chains, we've had quite a few milestones. We invented the steak burger. We perfected homemade milkshakes.
Oh, yeah.
And earlier this year, we became the first restaurant chain in the 21st century to launch beef tallow fries.
Yeah, baby. Crowd likes that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this guy's name's Dan Edwards. And, as I just heard him speak there for the first 30 seconds, I'm wondering, does he have some male friend to call him good night?
I'm just hungry after listening
I
to
know.
over 30
We're gonna
minutes.
use some of them
Yeah,
fries
those
right now.
tallow fries sound amazing.
You may have heard about another recent milestone, which is on May 16th, we began accepting Bitcoin as payment in all of our locations where permitted to do so by law.
Fascinating.
This implementation was a global implementation, not just in the United States, but also in our company-operated restaurants in France,
Wow.
Monaco, and Spain. Thank you very much.
Spain!
Our experience so far with Bitcoin has been that it is faster than credit cards. And when customers choose to pay in Bitcoin instead of credit cards, we are saving about 50% in our processing fees.
Damn, that's huge.
I bet there's zero fraud too.
Let's keep going with this. It's amazing. 50%.
Mm-hmm.
This means that Bitcoin is a win for the customer. It's a win for us as the merchant, and it's a win for you in the Bitcoin community. I have some facts and figures here, so if you'll forgive me, I'll refer to my notes a little bit, but I don't want to get it wrong. The day we launched Bitcoin payments at Steak 'n Shake, Steak 'n Shake accounted for 0.2% of the global Bitcoin transactions in the world. That means that on that day, about 1 out of every 500 Bitcoin transactions globally happened at Steak 'n Shake.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that.
So while Bitcoin may be the future, Steak 'n Shake has brought Bitcoin into the present. And there's no question we've seen an upsurge in our business. In our world, customer guest counts are one of the most key metrics that we measure. And in that measure, we've seen a sustained spike thanks to you. Accepting Bitcoin just allows us to meet our customers where our customers are. And so when we made this decision, we weren't seeking a marketing gimmick for short-lived publicity, but rather we were seeking to provide our customer with another viable option with which to pay for our products. And we understand that allowing customers to pay with Bitcoin alongside cash, probably heard of cash, and credit cards puts Bitcoin on par with those methods, those other globally accepted payment methods. And so what we believe we've done is we've allowed Bitcoin to be more broadly used as a medium of exchange at Steak 'n Shake. We believe we've helped to enhance the utility of Bitcoin.
Yeah, this is fascinating because, I mean, most of the growth in this is seeing Bitcoin as a long-term store of value, given how much it will appreciate the more it's adopted by these institutions. But say in the long run, like it's fully adopted, like government's got it, big banks got it, all sorts of companies got it, yada, yada, yada. It will still go up because it's a fixed supply and you're still going to have dollar being printed and all sorts of things.
Well, you'll still have a lot more interest.
But instead of it going up 20% or 30% or 40% to where you're probably going to be like, well, I'm not buying a burger with it if it's going to go up that much. Right. It'll go up 7%. It'll go up, say, with the money supply. It will. At that point, you might be like, yeah, I'll buy that $10 burger with Bitcoin.
Well, plus, if think of it this way, if it is steadily going up, why would I not get paid, take my paycheck, convert it to Bitcoin, and do as much transactions I can with that? I mean, that's an actual something that's gaining interest.
Right. Exactly. And especially if it's just going up a little bit, it's not going up crazy gains. Once it's kind of fully accepted, it's going up, say, 7% a year. You can, I think, divisible down to the, 8th decimal point. They call it the lowest unit is called a Satoshi. Yeah. So it'd be almost like, do these things get on par with $1? To where one Satoshi, the smallest unit in Bitcoin, is like $1.
It would force normal banks to somehow compete with that, which would be great.
So how much utility do you get out of yours? Like how much do you trade in it on a monthly or daily?
I just buy in and hold.
So it's an investment.
Yeah,
I'm treating it as an investment.
But if there are, I mean, if it goes to a mainstream type payment program, I think your demand would go incredibly high.
Well, and also I can imagine another model, like when you go use that credit card or that debit card or
cost me
whatever form of payment, though, it's not like you're literally handing the person cash or dollars.
Right.
That transaction and all these transactions, those balance sheets are then settled behind the scenes, like 2-3 weeks later by the banks. This is why it means it's faster with Bitcoin. I can imagine a world where instead of banks are settling with the traditional systems, they just settle in Bitcoin. And so when you go buy that thing, your money is being, that payment company's money is being backed by Bitcoin.
How many countries have securities backed by, or any sort of security invested in Bitcoin, backed by Bitcoin?
Not many. El
Salvador.
I know this is what Trump and team are trying to get the Congress to think about. In particular, Senator Lummis from Wyoming is trying to push this. They've already announced a Bitcoin strategic reserve, and they didn't buy any new ones. The government already had some like 200,000 Bitcoin. They're like, oh, let's put it in one place, custody it, create methods and standards and practices and like on holding this. And then we have to ask Congress for, do we have authority to go add more into this thing?
Okay.
And then it's gangbusters. The United States is in a unique position with this because we are the world reserve currency with the dollar.
We got the money.
And so essentially I view this as digital gold. It will be all the folks who poo-pooed the internet and said it'll have as much effect on the economy as a fax machine. They were wrong. Paul Krugman, looking at you. A lot of smart people didn't think that highly, especially after the .com bust. And it's like, pets.com,
there it goes.
That didn't work.
Yep.
That didn't work at all. I think Bitcoin, what the internet did to information, did to books, did to, writing a letter. You write emails now. But then did the video, did the music, like how everything just became right at your fingertips and stuff. I think that's what it's going to do to money. And the problem with money is in the internet, in the virtual world, everything could just be that song you have or that Word document you have, it can just be copied. Right. Well, Bitcoin figured out that problem. And so I think it will be the backbone of a new digital economy. And then when you talk about all these AI agents already being used and coming on board even more, what if you say just authorize your AI agents to settle account? Now, and of course,
I love the idea.
You put certain thresholds and stuff, and I'm more talking about the AI companies themselves, because they very quickly in real time want to allocate tokens that are on the internet, just compute power. Like, okay, we'll pull from you, and how do we pay for this? And it'll be done in a programmatic way. It'll be done through these bots. So I think it's quite a thing. And coming up after this break, I want to read my op-ed I have at 1819news.com out today, where what did the Alabama legislature say about this issue this session? We'll get to that in just a second.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Alabama weather will never fail to surprise you. Our lawns hardly get a chance to have any downtime. And as usual, it's already time to start getting ready for summer. This year, save the hard work and aggravation and call Alabama Lawns, the River Region's leader in weed control and fertilization services. What makes Alabama Lawns the River Region's best? It's the people. They have the experience, education, and commitment to customer satisfaction. Ask your neighbors. Alabama Lawns has been the Montgomery Advertiser's Reader's Choice Award winner 13 years in a row. The Alabama Lawns staff is made up of long-term employees and agronomy graduates, and the staff at Alabama Lawns attend annual continuing education classes. It pays to have someone that knows southern grass types and how to keep them green and flourishing. Call Alabama Lawns today at 272-7171 and let them show you real value in a lawn maintenance service. Alabama Lawns, the company with black trucks and green lawns. 272-7171.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at HIMS.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to HIMS.com/radio. That's HIMS.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text EQUAL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text EQUAL to 321-321. That's EQUAL to 321-321.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Radar will be busy again today, especially in the afternoon and evening hours with some strong storms. In fact, there's a level 2 severe weather risk. Watches and warnings are a good bet again today, and our weather app will keep you on top of the action with damaging wind gusts the main threat. Another warm and humid day with a high around 88 today, low tonight down to about 69. Tomorrow and Thursday, more scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon and evening hours. And again, some of those could be strong, possibly severe. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Hey, this is Peaches and Clean, Powerful Carpet Cleaning. Do you have area rugs and oriental rugs that you have been delaying cleaning? Give us a call at Peaches and Clean. We offer free pickup and delivery in the Montgomery Tri-County area, or check us out at peachesandclean.com.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1, WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. This part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. They're ready to help you whether you're looking to buy a home or maybe you're looking to refinance that home. You know, you've worked with them in both ways, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they love sitting down with folks, especially folks who they've never done this before. You've never refinanced. You've never bought a home before. You're just kind of dipping your toe into the pool. Now that might be the right time. Well, they can guide you through that process.
Those are the people you want to guide you right there.
And, you know, they're so straight up. Sometimes they tell you you're not ready.
Right.
But here's the steps you can go through. Get your credit score a little better.
Mhm.
Here's, you know, save this amount for a certain down payment, these
Right.
sorts of things. And of course, they specialize in helping veterans. So if you're a veteran and you have not taken advantage of the VA home loan programs that you earned, that you're owed, essentially,
best game in town, man.
They can help you do that there at Alabama Home Mortgage. So call them up today. At least start the conversation. there's all sorts of goals with refinancing, whether you're getting debt off your back or bringing down monthly overhead costs. And it could be, interest rates are a little higher, but now's the time to buy. Your family's growing. It's just let's get a piece of the American pie, so to speak. So y'all check them out today. You can always call them direct at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or apply online if that's how you like to do it at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. So at risk of stating the obvious, folks, Alabama's slow and steady approach to governance has its downsides, particularly when it comes to quickly adopting and adapting to novel technologies like Bitcoin. Yet Alabama remains unchanged, slow and steady all the same. Indeed, if the swift overhaul of the Alabama Board of Veterans Affairs this past legislative session is any evidence, it seems the fastest way to get something done in this state is to piss off the governor. Sadly, opportunities to truly make the governor as mad as a hornet are rare and few, so most issues usually take years to get off the ground. Alabama's government may be many things, but fleet-footed it ain't. That's not to say there's no wisdom in Alabama's plodding approach to governance. That is don't tear down an old fence unless one understands why it was put up in the first place, like a la G.K. Chesterton.
Right.
But there is still risk in this risk-averse approach, namely being too late. And there's nothing worse than being too late. Is Alabama now too late to the Bitcoin space? Maybe, maybe not. It's probably still early, though much later than I would personally prefer. But the fact is, Alabama certainly won't be first in the Bitcoin gold rush. President Trump signed an executive order in March to establish a federal strategic Bitcoin reserve, and other states have followed suit in taking an early lead. New Hampshire was the first state to pass a Bitcoin strategic reserve into law. New Hampshire is once again first in the nation, Republican Governor Kelly Ayotte posted on X in early May. Just signed a new law allowing our state to invest in cryptocurrency and precious metals. Texas appears to be following suit with the passage of its own Bitcoin strategic reserve, which now only awaits Republican Governor Rick Abbott's expected signature. Arizona dipped its toe into holding digital assets as well, though Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs vetoed a bill that would have freed up public funds to be allocated to a Bitcoin reserve, citing concerns about Bitcoin's volatility. Given Alabama's lawmakers told Bitcoin maybe next year, we're still studying up. In the 2025 legislative session, this is after they passed a joint resolution in 2024 to stand up the Alabama Blockchain Study Commission. I suspect it would be wise for many of our state lawmakers to also engage in some self-study and direct their interest to Bitcoin's institutional and political adoption in the second half of 2025. They can start by watching Vice President J.D. Vance's upcoming keynote speech at the Las Vegas Bitcoin Conference this week, along with many other speakers like the AI crypto czar, David Sachs, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, Eric Trump, Donald Trump Jr., Michael Saylor. We've got Senator Loomis here that I've got a clip I'll play in a second. That said, some Alabama lawmakers are already leading on this issue, particularly State Representative Mike Shaw from Hoover, who got the ball rolling by sponsoring a Bitcoin strategic reserve bill this session. State Senator Will Barfoot, our own senator here in this area, sponsored an identical companion bill in the Alabama Senate. Their legislation would have allowed the state treasurer to invest up to 10% of certain state funds into highly capitalized digital assets like Bitcoin. I think they made the threshold. It has to be over the market cap of something like $780 billion. As of last I checked, Bitcoin's market cap is about $2.1 trillion. Unfortunately, their bill stalled this year, but maybe they were always intended to be a conversation starter for the next year. Sometimes a legislative idea must go almost nowhere in Alabama before it ever gets anywhere. Slow and steady and pro indeed. That said, thank you to Shaw and Barfoot for leading the way on this issue this year, as well as anyone else pushing Bitcoin adoption statewide. I think the State Auditor Andrew Sorrell's great on this stuff. Because of their early efforts and the forthcoming work product of the Alabama Blockchain Study Commission due at the beginning of next year's session, it's due by the third day of the 2026 legislative session. Maybe the 2026 session will be the year Alabama gets truly interested in Bitcoin. As we say, to the moon, folks, to the moon. And this ain't too bad. It's just I wish they had empowered this bill Barfoot and Shaw proposed. They should have passed it this year. Because as you see more institutional players and adoption and the big banks and the political movers at the the federal level, make these moves. It would be nice if we already had empowered the treasurer here in Alabama to make moves as well. He already has certain funds that he manages and allocates stuff to. This bill simply would have said 10% of that stuff you're allowed to manage and allocate, you can put into stuff like Bitcoin. It doesn't mean you have to. Doesn't mean you shall. You're empowered to do that if you think this is prudent, that this is in the fiduciary responsibility to the people of this state. And yeah, to this idea we were talking about off air, if the United States starts adopting this, this would be great for Alabama for long-term public investment.
Yeah, it would be, but the donors have not told them to do it yet, Joey.
Do we know if the retirement system or anyone like that's got people on this commission?
Probably. I
would think
I would look at it. It's the usual study commission thing where it's like one from the governor, one from the House, the Senate.
Preston. That was the only name I saw.
Okay. Yeah, there's a bunch of different appointees to it. Greg Albritton's heading it up. And, I mean, we'll see. RSA should be involved with it, for certain. We'll see, though. And it might be like, there's all sorts of ways to get, again, exposure to Bitcoin. Like the reason this thing Trump and team just announced that they're going to be buying a bunch of Bitcoin with debt that they're able to raise because of their company's value. That's a way to get exposure to Bitcoin's gains and yield without owning Bitcoin direct. You can buy a spot ETF. There's a lot of different ways you can get a little of that shine off this without owning it yourself. Right. So this is why it does need to be studied. And there's more than just Bitcoin. There's all sorts of other different cryptocurrencies and uses of blockchain the state should be looking at, like titles, for instance, and all sorts of things that, right now, what the title lock stuff where your house title and your car title gets stolen online or whatever, you can't do that with a blockchain.
Right.
So
it eliminate a lot of that kind of BS.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of application. It makes sense they're studying it. It's just this one particular thing on Bitcoin. I wish they had done this session, but not surprised they said, well, maybe next year.
Mississippi done it yet? We're good.
We got to hit a quick break. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Pestruccelli, General Sales Manager and co-owner of Blue Water Broadcasting. For over 21 years, Blue Water Broadcasting has been a proud part of the River region. We're not just a company, we're your neighbors. Our owners, air staff, account executives, and support team all live right here. We believe in this community, and we stand by our slogan, Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
Since 1966, Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches has been more than just a place to stay. It's been a place to belong. For children facing hardships through no fault of their own, our ranches provide more than shelter. We offer a warm home, a loving family, and a future filled with hope. With open arms, we welcome these young hearts, giving them the love, structure, and guidance they need to heal, grow, and thrive in a warm Christian environment. Together, we can give Alabama's children the chance they deserve, a chance to dream, to succeed, and to feel truly cherished. Every donation stays within Alabama, directly impacting the lives of the children who need it most. Join us in making a difference. Visit alabamasheriffsyouthranches.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and download our app from your app store. We'd be honored to have you as a part of our mission to lift up Alabama's youth. And remember this, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Live local talk, the River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. Now, I've got a clip here for you at our top of the hour break. As we speak, the Bitcoin conference in Vegas is going on.
Right.
And so talking about the political folks involved in all this, we have Senator Cynthia Lummis, who I told Senator Britt, you better become best friends with her if you're really interested in all this crypto stuff. I don't know if they actually have, but they should be best buds. Well, actually, it's John Fetterman and Britt. They're besties for the resties. They just did some interview together. Like,
I miss that.
Yeah, and like Wesley got him a jersey that fits him and stuff. And
really?
Yeah, I mean,
The dude got some eligibility left? He got any eligibility left? We might use
Fetterman?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was that kind of jersey. It's more the one you give a kid.
Oh, Joe.
Except it's for a big man. I didn't realize Fetterman's that big because they took a picture right next to Wesley, and I'm like, oh, dadgum, Fetterman's massive.
Wesley's
a little taller. Yeah, but he's not, like, usually in those photos, and meeting the guy, he dwarfs everybody. And he doesn't dwarf Fetterman. So I'm like,
Fetterman
oh, man.
still had them bolts coming out of his neck.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like, hey, call up Senator Fetterman. You rang.
Exactly.
Anyway, sorry for being rude about it, but it's just funny. It's a funny, like, that's who you make friends with. But, you know, you got to make that friend across the aisle on occasion.
Sure.
But here's Senator Lummis from Wyoming talking about, well, the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. Let's listen into this together.
Forbade mining of Bitcoin. They did the United States a big favor because a lot of those mining operations came here. President Trump has declared his stand for making Bitcoin mining and America conjoined. And so that's a good area to start. But having a strategic reserve is the ultimate way of having geopolitical advantage. I've talked to generals in our military who understand that economic power is as important as military power in addressing aggressors around the world. And there are generals in our military right now who are big supporters of having a strategic Bitcoin reserve for that reason. Then we have states, which have always been the incubators of innovation. Senator Justice was the governor of West Virginia. Senator Blackburn's going to be...
Oh, I was about to say, he's got his bulldog on stage with him. He's the guy who held up his bulldog's butt and said, kiss it.
Yep.
Yeah. He's on. Apparently, this is a panel. Freaking, I wasn't ready for that.
All right.
He's got the freaking bulldog with him. Anyway.
Be the next governor of Tennessee. The states are where the innovation is occurring. So you have Arizona, Texas, and New Hampshire that passed strategic Bitcoin reserve bills this year. You had 30 states consider strategic Bitcoin reserves. We have the United Arab Emirates purchasing Bitcoin through American exchange traded funds. That's good for America because they're going to build their sovereign wealth in Bitcoin through an American ETF. We have the Czech Republic investigating through its central bank, adding Bitcoin to its diversified asset allocation. So it's happening all over the world. The United States often has led through the states. It's leading again through the states. But it's important that our government include among its strategic assets, Bitcoin as digital gold. We have about 5% of the world's gold in the United States in reserve. We need to have at least 5% of the world's Bitcoin in reserve.
It would have been nice to hear Alabama's name brought up in her mentioning of the states that passed it, but oh well, maybe next year. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Thousands in Houston are without power after severe thunderstorms rolled through the region. The early morning storms knocked out power to more than 160,000. A line of storms with more lightning and heavy downpours expected to move through Louisiana and Mississippi. Officials are issuing a boil water advisory in parts of Virginia's capital city, leaving many residents without drinkable tap water following an operational issue at Richmond's water treatment plant. The Texas House has given preliminary approval to a bill that would give Texas parents and school boards a bigger role over what books students can access in public school libraries. Senate Bill 13 would give school boards, not school librarians, the final say over what materials are allowed. This is SRN News.
Dennis Prager here for Equity Protect, the company that completely prevents home title theft and fraud. I've met Jim and Ryan, the owners of Equity Protect. They started Equity Protect because title fraud and equity theft are direct threats to American consumers, especially if you own your home free and clear or have high equity. Most title lock companies merely monitor your title, then let you know once fraud has occurred. Equity Protect is simply better. Equity Protect completely stops any attempts to steal your home equity and ownership. Get your free risk assessment at equityprotect.com. If you're low risk, sign up for their free monitoring service. If you're medium to high risk, get their full protection. For a limited time, my listeners can get 30% off your first year with the discount code Prager30. Go to equityprotect.com/Prager. That's equityprotect.com/Prager, or call 888-213-2959. That's 888-213-2959.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Radar will be busy again today, especially in the afternoon and evening hours with some strong storms. In fact, there's a level 2 severe weather risk. Watches and warnings are a good bet again today, and our weather app will keep you on top of the action with damaging wind gusts the main threat. Another warm and humid day with a high around 88 today, low tonight down to about 69. Tomorrow and Thursday, more scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon and evening hours. And again, some of those could be strong, possibly severe. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low-price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
1819 News.
Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall is joining in with several other states in urging the U.S. House to pass the Constitutional Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act. A total of 24 state attorneys general are seeking to expand concealed carry permits across state lines for law-abiding citizens. Marshall says that Alabamians no longer have to have a concealed carry permit within the state of Alabama, and that national reciprocity would eliminate the risk of them receiving criminal penalties within a more restrictive state when they exercise their constitutional rights. The letter that was sent to the U.S. House maintains that concealed carry is a constitutional right that has substantial public safety benefits by allowing people to respond to emerging threats by themselves rather than waiting on police to arrive and intervene. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
An investigation is underway in Dothan after a body was found on Monday in a burning vehicle. Firefighters had to put out that flame and then found the body inside. They are now working to determine the cause of that fire as well as the victim's manner of death. Authorities in Montgomery County were called to a traffic problem that involved an alligator. A driver had struck that alligator in Montgomery as it was crossing the road. The crash killed the alligator and totaled the vehicle. However, the driver sustained only minor injuries. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
It's time to butter up with Biscuits Baseball in 2025. Join us at Riverwalk Stadium for all of our Day of the Week promotions, including tacos and tall boys on Tuesdays, Military Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursday, Max Fireworks Saturdays, and Lil Crumbs and Bark in the Park on Sundays. For tickets and more information, visit biscuitsbaseball.com or call us at the box office at 323-BALL. Butter up.
I'm Jim Smith with Adams Drugs, and what our customers say about our business is the most important advertising tool. I'm here with Ronnie Taunton, who is a longtime customer of Adams Drugs, moved away for 3 years, and came back to town recently. Ronnie, how easy was it to move your business back to Adams Drugs?
Jim, it was very easy. All we did was make a phone call to the store in Prattville, and that's where we live now, and they took it from there, and I didn't do anything else.
What has your overall experience been like here at Adams Drugs?
Well, we are glad to be back with Adams. We've had quite an experience in some towns we lived in, and they have great service. You can tell that the employees are glad to be there to serve you, and I couldn't ask for any more. Whatever formula the Vinson family has, they need to keep it in a safe place because it's certainly working.
Come into any of our 12 Adams Drugs locations. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net to find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs is your independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is a Trump country. We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final hour here of the program on a Tuesday. Feels like a Monday, though. But we're already on Tuesday. Sorry, I just had to dance in my chair for a moment. You like this one?
This one's good.
Yeah, been having more fun. Now, I want to go to, this is former United States treasurer. Not Treasury Secretary, treasurer. She was under Obama, named Rosie Rios. She's saying, well, when it comes to Bitcoin, the train has left the station. Let's listen in.
Amazing what 4 months make in terms of giving that green light for innovation to actually happen. You're going to hear me say a lot, the train has left the station. So, thank you. Bitcoin is here to stay. Blockchain is here to stay. And, the unfortunate part about government traditionally, it doesn't lead, it follows. And a lot of it is because you don't have a lot of the kind of the subject matter experts who are literally coming into government. And so that's why the fact that this administration has taken the lead to form these task forces to actually bring business and the expertise into those conversations, we're literally playing catch up from the last 10 years.
Yep.
Things didn't happen. Now things are happening. And the fact that there's now this momentum that clarity is going to happen now for the very first time, that's going to be amazing.
It's awesome. And again, this is something I've learned is incredibly bipartisan. And it should generally bring people together. It means also you have bipartisan, I guess, dissent and being against it. But
you're going to have people, though, that because Trump's somewhat pushing it, that are
yes, of course,
just no, this is the devil.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Right. Well, to quote Michael Saylor, those who save their money in fiat, we call them poor. Let's go to Charles the First. Hey, Charles, how you doing?
Hey, Joey, Eddie, Byron, good to hear from y'all.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I was going to tell you, the big, beautiful bill puts a moratorium of 10 years on state regulations of consumer-based AI. Were you already familiar with that?
No. Wow.
Yeah, you need to look that up. You can look it up on Mashable by Rebecca Ruiz does one article, so that'll give it to you real quick. But Yes, and it even retroactively removes any state law or anything, and it takes it down from the state to the other levels of the state, like city, all that kind of stuff. It even hypothetically makes it where if your source for getting rent paid, your landlord, is AI, and AI overcharges somebody, the state can do nothing about it. Are you following me?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It will do that with real estate too,
Yep.
Eddie. So when you look at that, I just thought this is very much so the subject matter of what you're talking. Now, let's take this one step further. Let's directly attach AI to Bitcoin. Have you got me there?
Mm-hmm.
Then if it is ran just like we would say the landlord area is, right? If you attach it in a way that's similar to that, the state, if it tried to pass some type of regulations or make money or do anything consumer-wise that had to do with Bitcoin, the whole area there, it would be subject to not be done because of the big, beautiful bill saying for 10 years you can't do anything. You follow what I'm saying there?
Mm-hmm.
I just thought you guys would find that, really interesting. And on my Quora, I think I've already told you about it before. I really go into how to take AI and make it a GI. And on the rights to developing AGI on the internet, and I just started it a month or two ago, and it really is taking off as far as me using Professor Tipler, who said that we would have this in 1979. He said by 2030 it would be just what's happening right now, guys. He was one of the first ones ever to say this is where things are going, and this is what will happen according to the. If you look at physics, as far as where we go and what would happen, if you combine the general theory of relativity, quantum physics, and the standard model of physics into one, and you use multiverse, this would be what would become of us. That's really, really interesting right there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and here's another thing as far as if you're looking at humanity having a consciousness that we have today, there's a book, I want to say his name is Janus. Anyway, he researched, it was back in the 70s, and he found that our consciousness is not what we see it as today back a long time ago, that actually humans saw more stuff that was all together as far as looking at the moon or the stars or the things around them to be a reason to collectively make decisions instead of the way that we do now. Isn't that interesting?
Oh, yeah. And there's ideas of that consciousness is everything is a little bit conscious, like everything in the universe. And that it's the relation between things that gives rise to things like us.
Right. But anyway, I thought I'd bring that up and let you know it, since I wasn't sure if you knew about the whole, one big, beautiful bill.
Oh, it's packed full of all sorts of stuff. I did not know that.
Here's one other thing. Telling the states that they can't do something could be a constitutional crisis kind of go to court thing there, too.
Yeah. Unless they pay us, like the speed limits.
But anyway, thanks for having me on. Enjoying the show. Everybody have a good day.
See you, bud.
Speaking of the big, beautiful bill, Senator Ron Johnson said on Sunday that he thinks he has enough GOP colleagues on board with his opposition to the House's big, beautiful bill to stall its progress and make changes.
Oh.
The Wisconsin Republicans' remarks underscore the potentially difficult path ahead for the sweeping domestic policy package, which just narrowly passed the House last week. As House Speaker Mike Johnson urges his Senate colleagues not to, quote-unquote, meddle with the bill too much, fiscal hawks in the Senate have signaled they won't support the package in its current form. We have enough to stop the process until the president gets serious about spending reduction and reducing the deficit, Senator Johnson said on CNN's State of the Union. Senator Johnson, with some of his Senate colleagues, have raised concerns that the House bill will lead to skyrocketing federal deficits, a criticism that Speaker Johnson has brushed aside. Senator Johnson said that the first goal of the budget reconciliation process should be to reduce the deficit. This actually increases it. He has repeatedly said the federal government needs to return to pre-pandemic level spending. Senator Rand Paul also on Sunday called the spending cuts in the House bill wimpy and anemic. But I still would support the bill, even with wimpy and anemic cuts, if we weren't going to explode the debt. The problem is the math doesn't add up, Paul goes on. They're going to explode the debt. An analysis from the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office said the sweeping package could increase the deficit by $3.8 trillion over the next decade. You know, you might be able to assuage some of these people, like Rand Paul, Ron Johnson, if you do some recession cuts, like Doge has found, like actually start cutting some stuff in that regard. I mean, we'll see. I think the argument from the administration is going to be, yeah, we're still bringing it down from where Biden was. We're not just bringing it back down to 2019 all in one fell swoop. And there are many senators like Lindsey Graham. I think Senator Britt was talking about this with us the other day that want to break this into like three things. And Ron Johnson's even said that. Or do reconciliation first, then do your debt ceiling, then do your Trump tax, extra Trump tax cuts, you know, no tax on tips.
So the thing about that, every time they do a different bill,
yeah,
something else gets added on to it.
Yes.
You know?
And
or diluted.
It loses its punching power.
Yeah, big time. Big time. And I know that, and I certainly haven't read the bill, but I'm sure there's 1,000 things in here I'm against. I'm sure but at the same time, there's a million things in there I'm for. And sometimes, unfortunately, I take the good with the bad.
Well, the most important was the tax cuts to spur the acceleration. Without that, none of this math works at all.
Very true.
It's dead on arrival. I mean, other than that, I don't know how much I personally agree with the Senate, but the debt is the problem.
I agree with you. 1,000%.
Now, here's a little bit of Rand Paul that we just quoted on Sunday. Let's listen in.
Spending cuts. I think the cuts currently in the bill are wimpy and anemic, but I still would support the bill, even with wimpy and anemic cuts, if they weren't going to explode the debt. The problem is the math doesn't add up. They're going to explode the debt by, the House says $4 trillion. The Senate's actually been talking about exploding the debt $5 trillion. This year in September, when our fiscal year ends, the deficit will be about $2.2 trillion. Now, people used to always say, the Republicans would say, well, that's Bidenomics, that's Biden spending levels. When March, every Republican, virtually every Republican other than me, voted to continue the Biden spending levels, which are going to give us a $2.2 trillion deficit. Now, if you increase the debt ceiling $4 to $5 trillion, that means they're planning on $2 trillion this year and more than $2 trillion next year. That's just not conservative. So I've told them if they strip out the debt ceiling, I'll consider, even with the imperfections, voting for the rest of the bill. But I can't vote to raise the debt ceiling $5 trillion. There's got to be someone left in Washington who thinks debt is wrong and deficits are wrong and wants to go in the other direction. The idea that we're going to explode deficits, and the projections are now looking at over $3 trillion in deficits over the next 10 years, I think is just, not a serious proposal.
So the debt ceiling is going to come sooner or later, and Republicans, many of them, and those who advocate for including the debt ceiling being raised within this measure say, take it off the table now, because otherwise you're going to have really knockdown, drag-out fights with Democrats further down the road. They're going to have more leverage when you're facing that debt ceiling. So do you cede something by taking it out of this bill and leaving it for further debates that may be to Democrats' advantage down the road?
Well, they want to take it out of this bill because it is a walk of shame. Every time the debt ceiling raises, the people who've been voting for the spending have to walk in shame to the front of the House or the front of the Senate and say, yes, I've been voting for all these deficit spending, and now I'm willing to vote to raise the debt ceiling. But I would say the opposite. I offered an amendment 2 weeks ago to raise the debt ceiling for 3 months. That's $500 billion, believe it or not, for 3 months. And the reason I do it every 3 months and force the vote is it's a point of leverage. It's an inflection point at which we can look back at leadership and said, you promised you were going to cut spending. Oh, you promised tomorrow. You promised next week. You promised next year. But you know what? You're not doing it, so I'm not going to raise it again. So this leverage would work. If you do it for 2 years, you're right. It goes through all the elections, goes on the back burner, and the debt accumulates like it always had. This is more of the same. This is what the Democrats have always done. And this is the Republicans using the same playbook.
Okay, let's talk about things where some of your GOP colleagues there in the Senate are worried about too many cuts to specific programs. They're worried about impact on Medicaid. They're worried about SNAP. And really this idea that if you add work requirements or make it tougher to access those assistance programs, millions of people could be thrown off of health insurance. They could lose their access to food and medical coverage and insurance. So as a physician yourself, where do you stand on those arguments?
Well, see, on the one hand, you can offer people free stuff. You can say, I'll give you free health care. And people are, oh, thank you for free health care. But what you don't tell them is we're borrowing the money from China to pay for your health care. So we run a deficit, $2 trillion, which leads to inflation, which leads to rising prices, which squeezes you on the other side. So the bottom line is there is no free lunch. You can offer people free stuff, but if you're borrowing money to do it, you end up punishing them with inflation. The same people that are getting the free stuff are also being punished by inflation and never seem to creep out of poverty or climb up out of poverty. So it's a bait and switch. It isn't good. But I do think the deficit is a threat to our country. I think it's the greatest threat to our national security. And so I think you can't do this. We bring in about $5 trillion in revenue, and we spend $7 trillion. That's about what we do. The $5 trillion is consumed by Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, and other welfare programs. The mandatory programs consume all of it. So the people say, well, we're taking this off the table and we're not going to touch any of those programs. Well, they're just not frankly serious. I'm all for the DOGE cuts and I'll vote for every one of them. But you know, the administration now is afraid to send them back because Republican leadership on both sides is saying, we're not sure we can pass a $9 billion cut. And so what we're really stuck with is the math doesn't work. All the great DOGE stuff, all the great stuff Elon Musk has done is out there. And people are going to wake up in about 2 months and say, how come the deficit's still $2.2 trillion? Where did the savings go? People are to be very disappointed, conservatives, and I'm the one ringing the alarm saying they're not doing anything. They're not sending us a rescission package. They're not cutting spending. Somebody has to stand up and yell, the emperor has no clothes, and everybody's falling in lockstep on this. Pass the big, beautiful bill. Don't question anything. Well, conservatives do need to stand up and have their voice heard. This is a problem we've been facing for decades now, and if we don't stand up on it, I really fear the direction the country is going.
Sobering. Yeah. But I'm not surprised by it. Not surprised one bit. Now, there's going to be responses. One thing the Trump administration is trying to do is look at not only debt to GDP, which matters, like how much money are you producing yearly and tax revenue coming in compared to your debt load. It doesn't matter. But, you know, saying you run a company, what actually matters in terms of your debt load is your underlying assets, right? Yep. And so they're trying to monetize the balance sheet, so to speak, like the amount of land the U.S. owns. Burgum, in particular, Department of Interior, working with Chris Wright as the energy secretary, they're looking at opening up a lot more oil land and essentially doing a royalty system that brings in a lot more revenue.
Yep.
And essentially really doing a full accounting, and here's the estimated monetary value of all the natural resources and assets of the United States, which would, the debt looks small compared to that. Now, that does that mean we no debt problem? No, because you still have to look at that debt to GDP number. And I'm disappointed, especially the last thing he said there, how all this enthusiasm for Doge, and then they're like, yeah, thanks, Elon. Go back to your, rockets and self-driving cars and stuff. By the way, tonight, Musk is to unveil plans to send humans to Mars.
Gee. Joe, what's your take on why they're not looking at the Doge cuts? Is it too many people on the system, too many insiders?
Yes. And there are other concerns, like every few $100 billion you cut, that's taking out of the GDP numbers. We want to stay up. We don't want to cut ourselves off from this all in one fell swoop. We want to land the plane softly. We'll stair step this down. That's what the argument you're going to hear from the Treasury Secretary, that we are coming down from the Biden level spending, but we're not going back to 2019 in one fell swoop.
How quickly did we go up in the spending? Could they just promise to bring that down at the same rate?
Right.
Instead of, because when it went up, screwed you, me, and every other common man. When it comes down, it kind of puts the pressure on them.
Right. I mean, if they would do that, like Rand was saying, every 3
Yeah, I wish they would. I wish they would.
There's a time frame that you could work in there. Like removing the debt ceiling like that, I'm with him.
I love
you got to parade these folks out and make them be held accountable.
That's the only way to do it,
they
because
spend.
2 years later, everybody's forgotten.
I think they're missing low-hanging fruit here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of these Medicaid work requirements.
Yeah.
When was workfare put in place in the 90s? Like,
don't know.
It was a Clinton project.
It was
right?
a Clinton deal, yes.
Yeah. I mean, like, this is already past muster. We've said that this is a good idea. There's no, I'm just going to throw a number out. There's no reason 30% of Medicaid can't be cut.
Oh, I agree. But they don't tell you, they don't put the warning levels on them. They tell you, oh, you're cutting off grandma, you're cutting off grandpa, you're cutting off the folks that can't afford anything else. That's not the case.
Grandma's on Medicare, not Medicaid.
Yeah.
Well, there's more to get to in a second. I want to go to some latest kind of updates about the whole COVID regime that's still hanging over our heads. It's slowly being taken apart. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. Great sponsor here of the program. And at Pest Pro, they're ready to help you out with any and all of your pest control needs. It's pretty much that simple. And what they do it is sort of like a monthly subscription. That way you get that basic level of pest control protection. Then you can add to that termite inspection that's done on a yearly basis and protection. And then you can have mosquito.
That's the good stuff, Joey.
Oh, you're eliminating those mosquitoes. And it's worked for you.
Yeah, right now they're in full force, baby. Full force.
Because it's been a while since I've been out where, like in the wilderness, where it's not treated for mosquitoes. And, I haven't done it in a while, but you remember that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, look at all the weather we're having now. So everything's getting wet.
Yep.
You're going to have standing water. Somewhere in your yard, you're going to have standing water.
Yep.
Call Pest Pro Services, get this taken care of before it becomes a problem. Who wants to have a picnic or a family outing when everybody's just slapping each other because they got skeeters on them all day?
Right.
Nobody wants
that. And instead of spraying yourself or grandma or trying those candles that don't work, why don't you get your yard directly treated? And you nip it in the bud.
Yep.
Call them up today. I mean, you can always check about more information on Pest Pro at ppsriverregion.com or just search for Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. But you should just call them direct. 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. So, a new announcement was just made by the CDC, by RFK Jr., by Marty McCary, and Jay Bhattacharya.
Bhattacharya?
Jay Bhattacharya, who was, I think Bhattacharya is Harvard trained, or Stanford trained, like one of the top doctors and epidemiologists in the nation. And he's like, this COVID, lockdown stuff's nonsense. And they just, made his name mud. And it's great that he's now, helping to run things. Pretty amazing. But here's the announcement they made just today.
Hi, everybody. I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS secretary, and I'm here today with NIH Director Dr. Jay Bhattacharya and FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty McCary. I couldn't be more pleased to announce that as of today, the COVID vaccine for healthy children and healthy pregnant women has been removed from the CDC recommended immunization schedule. Last year, the Biden administration urged healthy children to get yet another COVID shot despite the lack of any clinical data to support the repeat booster strategy in children.
That ends today. It's common sense and it's good science.
There's no evidence healthy kids need it today, and most countries have stopped recommending it for children.
We're now one step closer to realizing President Trump's promise to make America healthy again.
Now, another thing on this issue came out Friday. Newly declassified documents put out by Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard showed that federal agencies under the Biden-Harris administration labeled Americans who oppose COVID-19 mandates as potential domestic violent extremists. Wow. The documents, first obtained by Public and Catherine Herridge reports, reveal that the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, and the National Counterterrorism Center jointly produced an intelligence assessment on December 13, 2021, titled DVEs, that's Domestic Violent Extremists, and Foreign Analogs May React Violently to COVID-19 Mitigation Mandates. So you don't like the mandate, you're probably a terrorist.
Oh, wow.
Former FBI agent Steve Friend says that this DVE label gave federal authorities an articulable purpose to initiate assessments on individuals, a preliminary step in launching investigation. So if you spoke up very publicly about these COVID mandates or totalitarian, well, we got to put you in a file here, and we're going to look into you.
I think that's something we knew.
But a lot of this is stuff we knew, but to see it like, no, here's the cold, hard proof.
Well, they're giving you the
It's just
proof now
crazy.
because they're going to be asking for apologies here soon. They're going to say, I'm sorry. We were mistaken by the science. Please don't hold it against me.
I didn't get a sorry. You got an apology.
No, that's what's coming. I'm telling you. When they realize, hey, American public is wised up, they're getting ready to vote our asses out. Hey, hold on. It was not my fault. It was the scientists.
Let's hit this break here. We'll be right back, folks.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. Recently, I met with 3 different owners of homes who had the same problem. They wanted to sell their house quick and sell it as is for cash. All 3 people were approached by different investors that said they had cash for their home, signed contracts, only to find out they were not personally going to buy their homes, but to find a buyer willing to pay more than they offered and pocket the difference. It's called wholesaling. Offer a contract to buy a house at a certain price, up the price to other buyers, and pocket the difference. I urge you, don't fall for it. You want to sell your home quick, use a licensed professional realtor, as I have been for 48 years, keeping promises to get homes sold quick. For all the details, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225. Call Bo Goodson at 221-2883.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man. Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money?
Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest.
You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist?
That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839.
I see.
Yes, he is our preferred money man.
The money man with the money plan.
You've been paying attention.
Well, could you give us those numbers one more time?
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man.
Oh, what's that?
I'm not an elk.
Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you?
Knights of Columbus.
I am not even going to make a comment.
Well, the baby liked it.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage.
And I'm Madeline Cannon. It's true, rates aren't as low as they have been for the past couple of years, but there are still many homeowners that could benefit from refinancing their current mortgage. There are a lot of things in life that are out of our control, but your mortgage rate is not one of them. If you currently have an adjustable rate mortgage, then you owe it to yourself to give us a call.
Adjustable rate mortgages make sense for some people in stable markets, but in this wild, ever-changing rate environment, it only makes sense to secure a fixed interest rate. A fixed interest rate will give you the peace of mind that your rate is locked. Your rate will not be subject to change with the political and economic tides.
At Alabama Home Mortgage, you can personalize your term. We offer 8-year to 30-year mortgages and everything in between. Grab your mortgage statement and give us a call.
Call Alabama Home Mortgage, the #1 mortgage lender in Alabama, today at 567-4223, or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, where right now, get a load of this, listen close, you got a house full of carpet for $19.95 installed. Unbelievable. They're located at 6450 Atlanta Highway, just across from Walmart.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. This is Rich Thomas. Our weather app will keep you on top of the action as the week goes on with a stormier than normal forecast, with showers and storms most numerous in the afternoon and evening hours, tending to fade out overnight. Low temperature tonight down to about 70. Tomorrow, another warm and humid day. I've got us at least in the upper 80s. And once again, another marginal severe weather risk from the Storm Prediction Center for some locally strong but random showers and storms. In fact, I don't think we'll see much change in this pattern probably through Friday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Whether you're buying a home or auto or consolidating debt, CB&S Bank's personal loans get you where you need to go. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you or apply online today. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now, folks, you might think that Juicy Smollett would do the smart thing and have a, come to Jesus moment, beg the public for forgiveness and announce he's going to treatment for some psychological problem.
Right.
The plan has worked for numerous scandal-ridden stars before him.
Yeah.
Who's it work for? Mel Gibson seems to be somewhat rehabilitated.
Pee Wee Herman.
Oh, really? What happened with him?
Back in the day, when Pee Wee first came out, he got caught in the movie theater enjoying himself a little too much. And it was a
big deal.
It was a big deal for a couple years.
He was masturbating?
Yeah. It was a big deal for a couple years. And then finally, MTV Music Awards, I think, they had him host it one time or had him come out. And that was like, okay. And the first thing he said was, heard any good joke lately? Ha! And it was over. Everybody forgive him right at that moment. It was over.
So he was Dr. Jenga Janging himself?
Pretty much.
Good God.
It's the first time I think most people saw Pee Wee Herman out of makeup too. And
Oh, really?
He really
Okay.
looked really
He
creepy.
had long hair.
Yeah, he looked
He
really.
He was one of the vampires in the stupid Buffy the Vampire movie.
Oh,
Really? I didn't know that.
Okay.
I can see that though.
Well, that's a classic show. I haven't revisited that one though. I wonder if that one holds up.
I don't know about the show, but specific
The movie?
The movie.
Well, Mike Tyson's another one that we've all
Yeah.
seemed to forgive.
Yeah. Tyson's come back. In a way, Trump had a huge comeback.
Oh yeah, huge.
Mm-hmm. But, he's not going this route, Juicy Smollett. He's choosing not to take that route.
Dummy.
Of course, you probably remember in 2019 when he claimed he was attacked by two thugs wearing MAGA hats in the dead of a frigid Chicago night when he went to get a Subway sandwich. And they apparently yelled, "This is MAGA country," right?
Chicago, this is MAGA country.
On Friday, Juicy Smollett agreed to settle a civil suit with the city by forking over $50,000 to the local charity of his choice. Wow. By Saturday, he was back to laughably proclaiming his innocence, despite mountains of evidence to the contrary. Oh my God.
Talk about denial.
He's like, Diddy ain't getting all these headlines from me.
That's just go away. I mean, for your own good.
Here's the actual, I'm just going to read the statement he put out.
Oh boy. Okay.
This is put out on Instagram. Over 6 years ago, after it was reported I had been jumped, city officials in Chicago set out to convince the public that I willfully set an assault against myself. This false narrative has left a stain on my character that will not soon disappear. These officials wanted my money and wanted my confession for something I did not do. Today, it should be clear, ... They have received neither. Why 4 dots? I don't get that. Anyway, for dramatic pause
That's
like
what
that, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
The decision to settle the civil lawsuit was not the most difficult one to make. After repeatedly refusing to pay the city, I was presented with an opportunity to make a charitable donation in exchange for the case being dismissed. Despite what happened there politically, Chicago was my home for over 5 years, and the people became my family. This guy's so full of crap. Therefore, making a donation to benefit Chicago communities that are too often neglected by those in power will always be something I support. I made a $50,000 direct donation to building Brighter Futures Center for the Arts, a local nonprofit doing incredible work nurturing self-expression, creativity, and exploration of the arts for Chicago youth. This organization was of my choosing, and I'm comforted there will be at least one winner from this experience. Though I was exonerated by the Illinois Supreme Court in a unanimous decision and the civil case will now be dismissed, I'm aware that it will not change everyone's mind about me or the attack I experienced. However, despite arduous and expensive attempts to punish me, I am innocent in the eyes of God and our criminal justice system. What I have to do now is move forward. I will continue creating my art. Somebody needs to call him and tell him go to hell.
Kind of part of a narrative, I think, that there are people in society that put this out there. What I'm doing is not wrong. What you're saying is wrong. It's not. And unfortunately, no one seems to call them out on their BS. They just let them live in their own little.
I think there's a
world.
clinical term for those people.
Yeah.
Is it not narcissists?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay.
He finishes here saying, lastly, I'm grateful to have had the resources to defend myself. So many do not. They are backed into corners to make deals or confess to crimes they did not actually commit. In their honor, I am donating an additional $10,000 to the Chicago Torture Justice Center, who provides resources to communities healing from the violence of the Chicago Police Department.
That sounds like a scam.
To anyone who has had to prove they have in fact been violated, you know how difficult this can be to navigate. And I stand with and for you. To everyone who has supported me, thank you. Your prayers and belief in me mean more than words can properly express. I will never take it lightly and will never forget. Onward. With love and respect, Juicy Smollett.
Who supported him?
I'm sure somebody did.
Besides, I'm sure his family, because he got no choice.
There are people raising money for a woman who said the N-word to a child. People are supporting all sorts of stuff.
I saw that. And it, yeah.
So it's just like
that's what I mean, though. There's actions that are being accepted that should not be accepted, and they're raising money off of it. Just like that kid in Texas who stabbed the other kid right in the heart, right in front of God and everybody. And 2 days later, his family received $500,000 in donations. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, man.
Well,
Stuff's out there.
that leads to you don't believe in the system anymore, and then you get those. What do you call them? Vigilantes.
He said, "I'm innocent."
Domestic terrorists. I think that's what they called them.
Call me that a time or two.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey guys, when it comes to Smollett,
yeah,
hell, he had it the way he wanted to get it, and he was out of the news. Now he just jumped out there and doubles down on stupid.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I do, Robert. What happened to one a day, Robert? One call a day.
Hey, that's up to y'all.
No, it's up to you. Stop dialing the number, man. That's what I get for.
Yeah, that's what you get. I hope you're happy now.
Oh, look, one of these studies that you could have been like, duh, do we need a study for this? And I'm kind of wondering how this study was done.
Yeah.
Sexual activity before bed improves objective sleep quality, study finds.
What, they just poll some people? I mean, that's... I thought that was kind of common sense.
Let me read this real quick. Engaging in sexual activity, whether solo or with a partner, no, it's not the same. Not the same.
I did not consider that part. My bad.
Not the same. If you're going to Pee Wee Herman yourself before bed, you're going to be going to sleep. I guess if shame helps you sleep better. But engaging in sexual activity, whether solo or with a partner, can lead to better sleep. It can lead to better sleep, according to a new pilot study published in the journal Sleep Health. The research found that both partnered sex and solo experiences reduced the amount of time people spent awake during the night and improved overall sleep efficiency.
Sorry.
So these effects were not reflected in subjective reports of sleep quality, but objective sleep monitoring showed consistent improvements following sexual activity compared to nights without it.
What kind of sleep study are you running here?
Wow.
So you're going to do that when we're going to hook you up some equipment and study you while you sleep?
The new study is part of a broader research effort investigating the relationship between sex and sleep. Earlier work, they surveyed 778 people and found that both men and women perceived that sex with, finishing helped them fall asleep faster. That's just subjective reporting. These findings prompted the current study, which provides a more detailed and objective look at how sex influences sleep physiology. The researchers recruited 7 heterosexual couples, comprising 14 participants in total, all of whom were healthy, sexually active, and living together in South Australia. Participants were screened to ensure they had no sleep disorders, were not pregnant, and did not have children, which could affect sleep routines.
All of those, yep.
All participants reported engaging in sexual activity at least twice a week. The final sample consisted of 7 males and 7 females, each around 26 years old. Participants were monitored over 11 consecutive nights using a repeated measures crossover design. Each couple completed nights in 3 different conditions: no sexual activity, solo, and partnered. What, did you just trust it? It's the honor system?
They got equipment, Joey. They can tell.
To measure sleep objectively, participants wore a wireless polysomnographic device. It's a headband, which recorded brain activity movement.
Nope.
And breathing during the night.
Nope.
Participants also completed self-reported diaries each morning, detailing their sexual activity, sleep quality, mood, and readiness for the upcoming day.
I don't trust that study.
Hey,
either.
Jill, will you pass me that bottle of baby lotion? My sensor came off. I got to stick it
I don't
back on
trust
there.
that study.
Nah,
People are going to lie a little bit about that.
7 couples.
Yeah.
On nights where participants engaged in sexual activity, they went to bed later than on nights with no sex. However, they also spent significantly less time awake after falling asleep and had higher sleep efficiency, meaning they spent a greater proportion of their time in bed actually sleeping. Sleep efficiency was 93% following macerating your strawberries and 93% after having somebody to, help you out, compared to 91% on nights with no sexual activity. Participants spend about 7 minutes less awake during the night following sexual activity.
What is this on? So the difference is 2% points?
Yeah, just a little bit.
In 7 minutes.
Yeah, not a little bit.
Telling me
So
you don't
probably
sleep
within the
better
margin of
after.
error. Yeah.
It's the journal sleep pill.
Full of crap.
Oh, man.
Everybody sleeps better.
I guarantee you that money's getting some money from USAID somehow.
Oh, crap. How do we get involved in on that scam? That's a good one. He's got to wear a headband.
You're going to need a partner.
I'm out.
Well, I mean, yeah, I probably should have a break. Because you just think this through and you're like, well, duh.
There's just so many. Yeah.
Duh.
I mean,
but what if it's like bad?
What if you have a really interesting dream in the middle of the night?
What's wrong with these 7% of people, or what was it? 8%? No, 7% of people who didn't sleep well afterwards. What are we doing for them?
It's a good point.
I mean, these are the people that really have issues here. Everybody else is go to bed happy.
We are actively seeking funding to support our third part of the investigation, recruiting a larger sample with participants with poor sleep quality or behaviors and examine if sexual activity can help subsequent sleep behavior.
You put a billboard out there right by the gonorrhea billboard for you're looking for people to help out with that study. I'm sure you'll get a lot of responses that way.
If I go to the doctor and I'm like, I've been tracking my sleep with my Whoop band here.
Yeah.
Do you have any suggestions to improve? He's like, you should masturbate more. Because I know you don't have the other option.
Well,
like, come on, man. I thought of that in high school.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi, this is Don Duncan with Don Duncan's All-American Automotive and Tire. Just want to say a big thank you to Blue Water Broadcasting. They've been a big partner in our success. And again, thank you guys so much for all you've done for us. If you need anything, come see us. Again, this is Don Duncan with All-American Auto and Tire.
Blue Water Broadcasting is the #1 most listened to radio group in the River region. Find out how to put this reach to work for your business. Call us to find out how we can help. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Come on down to Epicure and Jack's Tavern, where Southern comfort meets culinary delight. For just $9.99, seniors can enjoy their lunch meat special with 3 hearty sides, including a drink and bread. Regular sizes are just $13.99. Remember, at Epicure and Jack's, they make every dish from scratch every day. This isn't fast food, it's fresh food, crafted with care. Join them for a taste of the South, only at Epicure and Jack's Tavern.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Welcome back. This part of the program brought to you by Dylan Rings. And they're at Dylan Rings, Josh and Leslie Ryder. They're ready to help you as a full-service jewelry shop. Of course, they have a great inventory they put together. High-end items to the everyday stuff that still looks great but doesn't break the bank. And you kind of wear it out when you know you're going to have a little fun and get a little rowdy. You don't want to wear your finest jewelry when you're going out to have some fun necessarily. And, of course, they also do custom design work, repairs, spa treatments, so you can have that old jewelry you love shine and shimmer like it's brand new again.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, if you look on Facebook today, they buy gold, silver, and platinum. So if you're looking for one of these services, Dylan Rings has got your back. You stop by there today. It's 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, and it's just off Atlanta Highway. Be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie and Byron, those fellas on the radio, sent you. Can you call up Ray?
I can call him.
Yeah, I think we need to get back in touch with him. Did we learn anything today?
Nothing that I can report home to Mom. There's a lot of stuff I can share with the guys later on.
Well, just have a good night. That new trend is the weirdest damn thing. Like guys calling their bros at night. But see you, Byron. We have nobody on the line now. So, I didn't learn too much other than, Alabama's a little behind the curve with Bitcoin, and Trump's not happy with Putin. And apparently the U.S. penny is now officially dead. Let's go to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Good to see you guys. It's been a while.
It has, man.
I mean, Sailor graduated from high school, and I just quit working for a week.
Did you take the week off, Ray? There ain't no way you took a week off.
You had Thursday and Friday, and then a holiday Monday. That's 5 days.
Wow.
That's all
and
right.
I actually, it never stopped, so it wasn't that bad. I'm glad I did it. It was a one-time occasion. When I take a week off when I send her to college, I think I'll take a week off and me and Angel will disappear somewhere.
That's probably a good idea. That's a good idea.
And you know how I don't like it, but Angie's got all the kids on Life 360, even if they're married and they're gone out of the house. I'm like, Angie, they're keeping up with us. We're not keeping up with them.
I never thought of it that way, Ray.
We're sitting at the Mexican restaurant, and they just so happen to walk in.
They show up,
what are
yeah.
the chances?
That's genius.
I'm like, this stupid app cost me so much money. We got to get rid of it. Is nobody else in that boat?
No, but that's good. I never thought about that. But yeah, I can track my parents. Hey, when they're eating dinner, you want to go have some dinner? I know where they're at.
See, I would do it to mom and dad, but they eat dinner at like 4:30. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like dad just left. I guarantee he's headed home to get ready to see what's for dinner. Yeah.
Yep.
We went way off track. If y'all need a floor, call us 285-8117. We're not going to track you. We're just going to give you the best deal possible. Come out and give you that free measurement. Boom, next thing you know, hey, summer's here. Let us do it while you're going on vacation. Leave me a key. And we'll put a lockbox on the door. And when you come back, you got a brand new floor. It is the funnest vacation you will ever take.
Yes.
Knowing you got a remodeled house when you walk in the door.
Again, folks, that number is 285-8117. Take them up on that idea when you're on vacation. It's a really good idea.
Yeah.
And when you call them at 285-8117, be sure to tell them you heard Ray Bowles on the radio back at work.
Hey, and tell them Terry just chilled out. If they'll ask for Terry, he'll feed the cats while they're gone.
Oh, nice.
Oh, what a gentleman. A Scottish gentleman.
True gentleman.
He's over here shaking his head no. Silently. Guys, have a great day.
See you, Ray. So did we learn anything today, Eddie?
Oh, man.
We learned the walls are thin. We got to be careful what we say in here.
Yes, we did learn that.
Got to
the Steak and Shake deal, that kind of got my attention.
Yeah.
I kind of went and looked how many locations are. They got 450 locations worldwide. So it really did, when they started doing it, they really did notice. Bitcoin noticed, hey, we've got some traction today. That was interesting to me.
I really want some tallow fries now.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway.
Me too.
Ready to get out of here?
Yeah, I'm hungry.
It's good being back, but we got tomorrow. Yeah, stay tuned. Happy hour with Greg and Pamela. They're next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.